Strategy member over
dog,
here.
nice and slow.
My hair looked a lot cooler 5 seconds ago. I swear to God. What's up, y'all? We were listening to HP Shorty bumpin' over to Soldair, Lean Tales. Cartoon we were watching is the Dracula, Sovereign of the Damned. It's apparently incredibly bad anime. Japanese retelling of the Mary Shelley. Is that the author? Anyway, folks, welcome to the News Underground. I am Abandoned Nihilism, the realest motherfucker on Twitch, guaranteed. And this is the #1 source for news on Twitch. Without a motherfucking doubt. I covered more news yesterday in a 7-hour stream than your favorite political streamer has covered all fucking year. Tell me I'm wrong. And I'll ban you. I'll ban you. I'll ban anybody that disagrees with me. I hurt my feelings. I'll fucking ban you. I just picture that's what the people that I ban, that's what I picture them thinking of me saying, right? All right, we got to finish up U.S. news, and we're going to jump into a little bit of world news just a touch, and then it's motherfucking Ukraine all the way. So let's stop wasting time. I've wasted enough already. News is my favorite news streamer. Oh, Kim Goblin over here. All right, let's get to it. Crazy story. People you ban are dead inside. Look, you can be a conservative on this chat, but you just got to come correct. When you're called out, when you're repeating talking points, you can't just sit here repeat fucking talking points from fucking Breitbart.com and expect to be left alone. This is a place for a real discussion, not for some partisan robot to repeat shit that he didn't even come up with. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Come correct. Or get the fuck out. This is politics. This ain't just chatting. This is politics. It's a different fucking universe. What a nice summer cooler. It's literally a takeout container. It's a takeout container from a Chinese restaurant. I don't mind. I have a special rule. I'll make an excuse. I will drink out of plastic if it's cold. I won't eat or drink out of warm plastic. But I've been doing this so I drink a lot of water, right? So this is like Gatorade, but I basically fill the whole thing with ice, and then it's like this much Gatorade, right? And then it's just the ice melts and it basically turns into water. So I've been using these because I want to drink the whole thing, right? I need as much water in my system as possible. I feel better. I feel like more healthy. I feel it's like your engine's run, has the proper amount of oil. When you drink enough water. I get really bad headaches if I don't drink enough water, so. All right. How about we stop wasting fucking time? All right, so this story is totally bananas, but it's also indicative of the current situation in San Francisco. And look, I'm not the MAGA guy. I'm not the right wing guy. You'll get raped the moment you step off the plane in San Francisco. You'll get mugged the millisecond you look at someone the wrong way. With that said, I don't repeat those talking points, but with all that said, it's gotten worse in San Francisco. It's gotten worse in the Bay Area. The crime, the poverty, the drug use. The neoliberal solutions are always half-hearted. They're dumping tens of billions of dollars into these things. Nothing is really working. It's a total fucking mess. So here we have some sports guy, some rookie apparently, some dude that's just starting his career, 49ers over here, Ricky Pearsall, stable after attempted robbery and shooting. So this shit happened in broad fucking daylight, in the middle of the street. Right? I've walked down the street a million times in San Francisco. I don't know why it's so quiet. I don't know why everything got so quiet. Hold on. Double check the volume in my headphones. Yep, that's normal. Okay, hold on. Is something wrong or
now.org?
No, okay. Okay, the video just doesn't. Yeah. So the football player, he's like surrounded by people, they're like signing autographs or something, I don't know. And some altercation, someone tries to come up and mug him, steal his shit. He tries to fight back, gets shot in the shoulder. So here's him, he's actually walking. Yeah, so he's straight up shot. But he's actually walking, to it. It was a flesh wound. He'll be back out there. But this is San Francisco, man. This is what this city has turned into. And like I said, don't believe the hype with the right wing shit. But that leaves massive excuses for the neoliberals that have failed the city. It's gotten completely out of hand. And let me tell you, this keeps up. Liberal San Francisco, you're going to see some hardline Republican get in there because people are fed up and they don't even care. They don't care if they're going to lie to they don't, cut corporate taxes, do whatever you want for your oligarch buddies. If you can just do anything substantive on this massive issue, crime, poverty, drug use. It's rampant. There's not a public park. There's not a public space you can go to that isn't quite frankly ruined, utterly ruined. It was like a running gag between my wife and I. It's like, okay, well, this would be nice if there wasn't a half-naked man zonked out on something over there, a homeless guy over here that's got like a massive pile of clothes for some reason, right? He's got it all dumped out, and it just goes on. And it's like you start to build a coping mechanism, and you start to hate these people. And it's weird. And maybe that was just me, right? But there's a part of you that's like, these people are really fucked up and they need a lot of help. And, I'm paying my taxes and I want my taxes to go into helping them. And then it's like, I just want a day without this madness. I just want a day without these people. Just one day, and you're not allowed. You're not allowed. 3 o'clock in the morning, you'll be hanging out, with your buddies outside of a bar. A homeless guy walks up, for like the 7th time. Anyway, pretty scary stuff. Let me just read a little quick here. So rookie receiver, Ricky Pearsall, shot in the chest. Attempted robbery. Statement released Saturday. The 49ers said Pearsall was in serious but stable condition. Yeah, he walked. He's fine. Pearsall's mother. But, I mean, will he be able to play again? That's the thing, is that, a gunshot does all kinds of damage. Even if it's just a flesh wound, it might not mean that he's going to be able to use his, chest or arm properly for the rest of his life. Pearsall's mother said Sunday in a social media post that the bullet exited out of her son's back and missed his vital organs, adding that he's extremely lucky. So what, did the guy not even use hollow tips? He really was broke. Pearsall. Yeah, so he was signing autographs. Wow, he was signing autographs at an event center, headed to the Union Square, which is just a big bustling area in San Francisco. So a physical altercation between Purcell and the suspect ensued. So someone tried to snatch something off him. He wasn't having it. And then homie shot him. There was no indication that the suspect had targeted Purcell because he was a professional football player. Yeah, he's just doing crimes, man. They don't care, man. They're zonked out. They're in another universe, some of these people. In a completely another universe, man. Big celebrity, bunch of people there to sign autographs. No, they just see, oh, look at this expensive watch, or look at this cell phone. And I'm not denigrating drug people that are on drugs. I'm currently on drugs right now. Okay? I'm not trying to denigrate people. I'm just saying it's out of control. It's out of control. Anyway, pretty crazy story. So we got an update. Everyone's favorite everyone's favorite segment, Boeing Watch. It's Boeing Watch update. So I haven't really been talking about this because there's been too many goddamn horrible other, Gaza and everything else has been, the Kursk offensive, right? It's been incursion. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. So I haven't been able to do a Boeing Watch. That's the wrong button. Shut up. I haven't been able to do a Boeing Watch. And the big news is, of course, exactly as I predicted this. Yo, Bobby Boofpack with the fucking awesome cartoon over there. The Big Les Show. Check it out today on YouTube. If you haven't seen the Big Les Show, you're completely missing out. So I love that icon there. Wonder if the shooter cared about Californians' guns laws. Yeah, okay. So if I provided you with a list of assault weapons, specific assault weapons, dangerous assault weapons that I wanted to ban, would you be okay with that? Right? Instead of let's just cut to the very end of the argument where instead of you pretending that when I talk about gun regulations, you're just going to say I want to ban all guns. Let's go ahead and skip that entire argument and just get to the end of it. Would you acknowledge that if I were maybe to provide you a list of specific guns that I think are too dangerous to be banned, not rifles, not pistols, right? Not shotguns, just a list of specific assault weapons, right? M16s, AK-47s, etc. Models and serial numbers, right? Would you then be okay with some kind of regulation on the weapon that almost killed the president that you're probably going to vote for? Maybe you're a lefty that agrees with because I agree with gun ownership. I actually agree that people should be able to own guns on the left. Nothing. We got nothing on this. Because they always, the moment you start, they make a comment like this. Oh, yeah, I bet those gun laws are really helping you out there, right? Yeah. Right? So then I go, well, common sense gun regulation does make a lot of sense. And they go, oh, you're going to ban all my guns. All my guns, you're going to ban them. You're going to take them all just like Obama did. Yeah, just like Clinton did. He took all the guns. But, we've gone down that road 600 times. So I can't, because I can't even. They won't even do specific. What about just one assault weapon? What about just one, the gun that almost killed President Trump? How about that? How about just one assault rifle? Oh no, you see, start with that one. Slippery slope. You're gonna ban them all. Okay. Anyway, back to Boeing Watch over here. He didn't want to fight. He didn't want to play. Back to Boeing Watch. The big news is exactly as I predicted. This hastily put together, lowest bidder was able to put it to, Boeing did it as cheap as possible, cutting every corner with the new boss who thinks he's Elon Musk, right? Coming in there. Oh, do we need that? We don't need that bolt. We don't need that. That we could save $2 million if we used a lower quality metal on this and this and this. And come on, it has the tensile strength. You guys are just going overboard. You're spending too much money. You eggheads don't know anything. You don't know anything about business. You don't know how to build a rocket ship, okay? You don't know how to do it economically over here. Look, I'm the smart guy. I'm the CEO. I'm running the company, okay? So I think I know something about building a rocket. Cut corner here, safety check not needed. And wow, look at that. I gave myself a $50 million bonus Wow. Where did I find the money? I'm just that good. I'm just that good, folks. I just find the money. It's magic, right? So this motherfucking rocket ship put together with that mentality barely got the astronauts up there and is making weird mechanical sounds. They're not going to take it back. It's so dangerous. They don't even want to get back into it. I bet you they're debating and contemplating now. I think they are. They're going to remove it from the International Space Station, get that thing away from it, and let it dump it back in the fucking ocean. And fucking, oh, this is so embarrassing. Tesla is scheduled to save these astronauts, to bring these astronauts back in 2025, in the next, because there was a scheduled Tesla going up there. He was going to, a Model S was going to drive up there. So they're like, well, okay, you got room for 2 more? So the real question is, will this affect Boeing at all? I mean, what the fuck? How bad you got to fail? I mean, it has been failure after failure after failure. I mean, thankfully only a couple hundred people have died so far. But I mean, it's the dirty little secret that the United States is like, in conjunction, working with Boeing, and that's why it's protected and saved here. But man, what a bad investment. What is, is anyone going to be held responsible for these massive, massive failures? I'm excited. 500 Newport cigarettes. Hey, did you see that really funny extension to the meme that you're using in your picture? It showed Kamala. She had like a Willie tattoo. She had like a cigarette. It's pretty funny. Extremely racist, of course, but funny. Anyway, so this is the video I have for you. This is radio chatter between Mission Command down on Earth and the International Space Station, and they're talking about a weird fucking noise coming from the Starliner, this goddamn jalopy that Boeing sent up into space that's going to get everybody killed if they don't detach this thing from the International Space Station immediately. So now it's making a bunch of weird ass noises. So listen to this really interesting clip of radio chatter between Houston and International Space Station.
Houston on 2, I've got a question about Starliner.
Houston's with you, Butch. Go ahead.
There's a strange noise coming through the speaker. And I didn't know if you could connect into the Starliner and let me keep mic and let you hear. I don't know what's making it, but I don't know if it's something that maybe is connected between here and there, making that happen. But anyway, can you do that?
We can configure that, Butch. Give us a minute, and I'll call you back when it's ready.
They're going to dump it.
Station Houston on 2, we're configured for audio via hardline and CST, if you want to give us a call.
Okay, I'm in Starliner, and how do you read?
The weird noise is coming up.
Okay, I'm going to keep the mic up next to the speaker.
Copy.
Hear that?
So he's basically saying, I'm going to put my mic right next to the speaker so that Houston can hear this weird noise coming from this thing.
Negative, Butch. We did not hear anything. All right, Butch, that one came through. It was kind of like a pulsing noise, almost like a sonar ping.
Yeah, I'll do it one more time, and I'll let y'all scratch your heads and see if you can figure out what's going on. Here we go.
One more time.
All right, over to you. Tell us if you figure it out.
All right, so then they're like, okay, thank you for the recording. We'll take a listen to that, and we'll get back to you. I think it's a mechanical failure. I think something is like and I don't know if the delay is because of a delay in the transmission, like there was a glitch in the transmission. Because if it isn't a glitch in the transmission, that means it's not like a sonar ping that's like every second, right? Every like 2 seconds exactly. Because it had these like bing, bing, bing. I think something's rattling around in there. I think something's like, something connected to some vent or some kind of circulation or something. Goddamn thing's falling apart. Falling apart.
All right, over to you.
I mean, how does this not tank the entire company? You know, how does not, how, you know, the stock price just literally crater to zero? Socialism for the rich, right? Socialism for the, you know, for corporations. Because this is like, there's no capitalist excuse for why this company is still around. It's a disgrace. It's putting people's lives in danger. It's embarrassed itself. This is the most embarrassing, probably, space-related thing humanity has done so far, right? I mean, we had the Challenger, you know, disaster. But this is probably one of the most embarrassing things we've ever... I mean, this is just embarrassing. And thankfully, no one's died because of it, you know? But this is embarrassing. This is like, you know, this is like you get a little piece of toilet paper on your shoe or something. I don't know. I'm embarrassed. That's just me. I'm embarrassed for you. You're like, you know, we got bigger fish to fry. I get it. That's true. Who cares? At least they're not dead. I reported on this yesterday. Tim Pool, you know, Kamala HQ, I showed the tweet. We read the tweet here. You know, Trump operatives saying their Project 2025 plan to give Trump total unchecked legal power so they can jail and execute those who don't support Trump if he wins. They have scrubbed this video from YouTube. So they, you know, activists are bringing this video back, showing, you know, hey, bro, you literally talked about this shit. And now Tim Pool, I have engaged legal counsel. We were preparing to take action. More to come. Whoa. Watch out. Watch out. Hey, Tim, you better wait for your little dictator daddy to get in charge before you can start pulling this shit. There's nothing illegal. There's nothing illegal about this. There's literally nothing illegal about this. So you're going to need a little dictator daddy to make a special rule for sycophants like you. Ooh, you're defaming the country. I mean, that's what China does, right? That's what a lot of authoritarian setups will do. You're disparaging the country, right? That's what Russia does. The blinkered look line goes up attitude. Some desperate investors are reason for people are bad for business having random accidents, I think. Yeah. Whoa, you're still here? You had nothing to say about what I said earlier, huh? It's interesting. All right, so this has been going around social media. I wanted to talk about it. I'll give you my opinions after the video. If you haven't seen it, it's kind of weird.
Let's clean a random grave.
Okay.
Who do you think is buried here?
Let's clean it and find out.
I have so many questions. How old is this grave?
It looks like it's been here for 500 years.
How did this grave get so dirty? Look, there's a tree growing out of it.
I love plants.
This transformation is extremely hard for me, but I believe everyone deserves a beautiful grave.
Okay, so I did some research.
A woman is buried here, and she has 2 brothers, just like me. I need to make her family proud. This is so satisfying. I wish I could live in the graveyard. Are you ready to find out who's buried here?
Yeah. Got to get the ASMR on here, right? I do like these videos. Like a high quality microphone.
Maria Lugo Texador. She died on the 19th of January, 1990.
I get to do this work because you support and follow.
All right. So I learned a few things doing some research on this video, doing some research, quote unquote. She is selling, see this little pink soap? It's called Clean Girl. So she's selling the soap, but she didn't sell the soap in this video, but she sells the soap in other videos. It's her product. I also noticed that she tried to use her clean soap product across the whole thing, but look right here, she had to use actual soap that doesn't come from an aerosol can. when the job got a little too tough, she had to bust out real soap. No, I think her soap's obviously fine. Look, you know, the grave looks very nice. I'm just making fun. So I just wanted to fully disclose all that. With that said, I'll allow it. But what can I do? What can I say? I saw one comment that was absolutely hilarious. It was, you know, everybody's talk. You know, no, it said the grave bimbo. The grave cleaning bimbo will be received in Valhalla for honoring the dead. That was the comment. And it's like, okay, she didn't sell the soap in the video. She made the video all about the dead person. She did a fantastic job of cleaning. It looks great. She not only cleaned the grave, but she cleaned, you know, everything around it. It looks fantastic. Okay. She's got a great attitude. She's weird as hell. I want to live in a graveyard. Okay, it's social media. What can you do? I'll allow it. It's damn weird, but you know what? I'll allow it. It's like, I've talked about this before, how it seems like irony is kind of going out of fashion, and being earnest and, you know, kind of open and positive is kind of making a comeback a little bit. You know, she calls herself the clean girl. I'll allow it, dog. I'll allow it. Okay. The grave wasn't clean, you know, that wasn't cleaned for over a decade, maybe even longer. You know, she gave it, man, it looks great. So those are my comments there. She's a character. I don't know. I kind of would like to do an interview with her because she seems like a total, like, interesting character. She's kind of genius. It's just broad appeal that you can't say anything bad without being seen as ungrateful. There are reasons too, though, like using abrasive acid-based cleaners which corrode most gravestones. Oh no. Oh no. Potential FTC issue if her vids count as ads for a cleaning spray. Oh man. Well, you know, you got to have the piss and the cornflakes brigade show up to remind everybody why doing nice things for people and making a little money on the side is a bad thing. Is a bad thing. The screamo age of being earnest. Yeah, something like that. Cleaning any grave is God's work. Fuck God. God is fucking dead. What do you think about that one? Moving on to the next story. Just wanted to mention, you know, we've talked about the Texas power grid many times. Here's the article. I don't have time to read it. I got a bunch of shit I got to cover. The Texas Republicans are souring on crypto. So basically, the basic gist is that crypto is sucking up so much juice. This is insane. The power companies are bribing the crypto farms to churn off their crypto miners at specific times so that human beings can use electricity. That's how bad it is. So you're paying your power company in Texas, who is gouging you. You know, you're paying double, triple what you were 5-10 years ago before Greg Abbott, you know, changed everything. So you're getting gouged up the wazoo. And then on top of that, the power company is literally giving a good chunk of that money on a regular basis to crypto assholes to churn off their fucking disgusting, you know, energy gobblers to make a bunch of digital coins that billionaires trade amongst themselves. Right? So that you can turn on your AC so that you can have refrigeration for your food. Yeah, exactly. And of course, you know, the current Republican leadership in Texas will never admit that this is a bad thing, right? They keep trying to find ways around it while actively also fighting alternatives, you know, renewable energies. But we can't have that. Undependable. It's so undependable. So I just wanted to mention that the Texas power grid experiment continues to be a total disaster. The privatization scheme, the privatization experiment. So another little tidbit. You know, when they did this, they had to disconnect from the national power grid, so they're no longer connected to other states. for assistance and whatnot because of this scheme. They're like, no, we'll do it our own way. We're Texas. We want to secede from the Union. Bitch, you can't even maintain your own power grid. We're supposed to believe you guys are going to be all good, handling your own business. The country of Texas. Don't mess with us. Please help us. Please send aid to the country of Texas. All right. There's the article there if you want to read it, though. I put it in the chat. I got bad news, folks. I got bad fucking news, man. I got bad fucking news, dude. I got bad fucking news, dog. Cornel West has now started to hop on the RFK Jr. anti-science, anti-vaccine. Yeah. Anti-vaccine stuff. He's starting to do it. SDL had a perfect, so real quick, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but he's basically like, don't trust the medical. All right, let's read the whole thing if I'm going to be fair. I better not paraphrase him. I love Cornel West. I do. I give everybody one thing before I put them on the shit list, because I got one thing that gets me on a shit list, but I'm not going to let it go. So I give everybody else one thing. So I'm not, for new viewers, I have a shit list that I maintain of people that are maybe presumed to be honest actors, but are definitely grifters or bad actors. So I'm not going to put Cornel West on the shit list. You're about to be. You're about to be. You're this close. But this is terrible. This is terrible. I mean, I've been ignoring Cornel West, and I've talked about Cornel West, early on in the election. I've said I'm just kidding. I'm not going to cover this man's campaign because it's a joke. I don't think he's grifting. I just think he's wildly incompetent at politics when it comes to Cornel West. With RFK Jr., it was grifting. I'm not covering him because he's a grifter. With what's her face there for Miss Russia there? What's Jill Stein? It's because she's connected to Russia, way too connected to Russia, objectively. I'm not talking about the little dinner that she had. There's all kinds of objective facts about Jill Stein. No, you're done. We're not entertaining you. But with Cornel West, like I said, it was just his political incompetence. I didn't think he was trying to grift. This is the first sign that there's some kind of grift happening. This is not truth telling. This is pseudoscience. All right, let's read the fucking thing. Look, the reason why I say pseudoscience is because when anybody is talking about vaccine skepticism, it always leads back to the same few sources. The same few sources of medical quackery, right? A bunch of discredited, debunked research or doctors or ex-professionals that, destroyed their career and reputation to say something wildly incorrect, and a bunch of bad actors and grifters glom onto these guys and what they said, no matter how much it's been debunked, right? Because what they say is oh, it hasn't been debunked. Yeah, it's been debunked by corporate pharmaceutical companies. And it's well, there's a real problem with corporate pharmaceutical companies, but I talked about this yesterday. Where's the profit in killing people? Right? There's no profit in the cure. Well, there is, but there's not as much profit in the cure as in the treatment. Right? So I understand that argument where it's well, they're not doing enough to find cures. They're really just trying to find treatments. That's a different argument. They're not actively trying to kill people. I'm sorry. They're not. The pharmaceutical company is not actively trying to kill fucking people. That's a pretty bad business model. Right? So we're talking about an entity obsessed with money. Yeah, let's kill a bunch of folks. Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. We'll make so much money from dead people somehow. Sound absolutely cooked, bruv. You're mental. Nanners. What is this?
Go wacky. Go positively bonkers, yeah? Go mad, bruv. Lose your marbles, yeah?
Yeah. Is that me? When people switch camps into grifting, they are taking advantage of well-funded astroturfing campaign. There's still room. You want in? Yeah? You got any money? You got some dough? If I told my wife I totally sold out all my principles, but then I handed her $1 million check, I wouldn't hear a single thing about about the principles. All right, let's read this comment. It's really, I don't want to. I love Cornel West. I have like 6 of his books in my collection, you know, like. Anyway, Cornel West here. Brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters! All right. It's time to commit an understanding and addressing to the role of pharmaceutical influence in public policy. That is true. I propose a COVID-19 Truth Commission to explore the disproportionate impact on marginalized communities, seek reparations, and ensure justice and equity in our future responses. Well, I mean, so the restrictions were lifted. The restrictions were essential. The restrictions saved lives, masking, you know, hand sanitizer, keeping your distance. And some of it worked a lot better than others, right? Some of the stuff was kind of ridiculous, like the plastic partitions in an open room where, you know, everyone's breathing without a mask in a restaurant. So it's kind of ridiculous, right? In some cases, but in other cases were totally essential and effective. You know, masking is of course the number one thing. It works. It works. Unless all the doctors we've ever seen in our entire life at every hospital that we've ever been to are a bunch of fucking pussy-ass posers, right? That's what Joe Rogan would say. Fucking doctor with your fucking mask in the operating table. Why don't you take that off, bitch? Right? Masking works. So some of it worked better than others. But disproportionate. We're making this about seek reparations for whom? For what? Okay. We also must challenge the censorship that silences diverse voices in these critical conversations. Okay. The one subject that is being actively censored is the discussion about, was this virus created in a lab? That's a serious discussion. Wow. Wowzers. Look at that. Look at these comments. All right. 1 second here, folks. Sorry you had to see these. Sorry, we got to interrupt the stream to take care of these. Wow. I mean, what can you say about this kind of stuff, right? It's disgusting. It's got to go. Nothing. Look, guys, nothing I love more than clicking that fucking ban button, okay? Ask the OGs, okay? I'm way too quick to ban people, okay? We got to do it twice. We got 2 turds. So coming into my chat and giving me a reason immediately to ban you is like, you know, it's like Christmas, okay? Hopefully they'll give me unban requests as well, filled with a bunch of shit as well. I love those. Make sure you give me those unban requests as well. Send them my way, big guys. Anyway, I would report them as well, but I'd like to get back to this. So additionally, we will establish a vaccine safety and utilization panel to restore trust in our public health institutions through science, transparency, and community engagement. So, I mean, you know, I'm really glad I read this because it's like, okay, this is what he's proposing. I'm not necessarily, okay, look, because there is a lot, because of these grifters, there is a lot of misinformation about vaccines, how effective they are. You either choose crackpots on social media or you choose, corporate pharmaceutical company information. It's very difficult to get independent information. You know, maybe you go to your doctor, maybe not a lot of people do that, right? They're more likely to go to Google, maybe ask ChatGPT than they are to ask a human doctor. So this is actually not the worst idea in the world, right? Because if this is truly transparent and truly scientific, then we would get, this panel would release a report that says vaccines, 99% of the time, vaccines are fine and perfectly safe. And, there are people with anomalous physical issues that have issues with vaccines. We still recommend the 15-minute, waiting period after you've taken a vaccine at Walgreens. You got to sit in the fucking chair for 15 minutes. We still advise that. right? Because that's if that was truly transparent and truly scientific, that's what it would produce. I'm super confident about that. Okay. But it would be nice, right? Because it would, if it was like independently funded and it was separate from the corporations, and it could keep the corporations in check, right? Hey, like, okay, you got your own scientists. Well, the people have their own scientists as well, and we're going to check this stuff. So, okay, not the worst thing in the world. You're still not on the shit list. Your political instincts are absolutely gutter dookie, Cornel West. Good Lord. Jimmy Dore's party, honey. Jimmy Dore's party. Then the Greens, honey. And then Independent. Okay, like Independent was the one that made sense. That's where you should have started, right? There are several sitting politicians right now, I think, that are independent. Bernie Sanders, definitely one of them. Anyway. Or is he not? No, he's registered as a Democrat. Was it Cinema? Was it Cinema who went to independent? Cinema downgraded as an independent? Whatever. All right, I'm babbling. That's my statements on Cornel West. Moving on to the next thing. This video was really something else, and I just wanted to, just kind of like a public, health thing. You got to cut the sugar back. I'm trying to do it as best I can, right? I got a little sugar here, but it's like it's super diluted, right? But the consumption, the mass consumption of sugar should really trouble people. And this video is really something else.
Friends, this is a pumpkin swirl frozen coffee. Who the thought it was a good idea to put this on the menu? Because this drink has 185 grams of sugar in it.
185.
How much is it? It's this much. It's 46 teaspoons of sugar. To give you another perspective, the amount of sugar in there is equal to 14 glazed donuts.
That's wild.
There's no pumpkin in here. It's
That's
artificial flavors. There's 12 mentions of sugar and high fructose corn syrup in here. There's 930 calories and 194 carbs. 2/3 of us are already type 2 diabetic or pre-diabetic. If America runs on this, we're
That's wild. And the crazy thing is, like, there's people out there that buy that shit every
day, dude.
Every day, man.
Every
we
day.
got a problem.
Don't deport me for saying this. But I feel like Americans eat like they have free healthcare.
And then look around. That's TikTok. But no, I thought that was really interesting because it's very true. We have to be more conscious of our sugar intake. It's a big problem for me too. All right, so moving on to the next thing. I had a couple Harris related things I wanted to talk about real quick. Quote unquote, quite punitive Harris donors reportedly balk at plan to hike taxes on wealthy Americans. So I see this every time, the neoliberals come out, say a bunch of really progressive things because they want to get those votes. Rich people in the rich people in the background start grumbling, right? And then we had, Joe Biden. Don't worry, nothing will fundamentally change, rich guys. Don't you worry. Not going to change a thing. You guys will still be able to exploit Americans as much as you want. Don't worry. Chem Goblin, I'm pretty sure you're wrong, buddy. I think excess sugar can trigger diabetes in your body, right? If you eat too much of it, something like that. I don't know. Maybe you're right. I should shut up. Have you seen Nauru videos? It's like a neighborhood in South Texas. Novo Nordisk. What? No, I haven't. Anyway, we see this a lot. So I expect Kamala Harris to do the same thing. Reassure the rich people that are grumbling. Oh, you can't raise my taxes. You can't do this. So there's probably going to be some kind of reassurance. I would like it if there wasn't. I would really like it if she actually means to actually tax the rich. All these promises that she's making, we'll be lucky to get 1/4 of it. You know, we'll be lucky to get 1/20th of it, of the shit that she's promising. Things are going to get so watered down and means tested and cut into. Don't worry, fellow rich people. We mean other rich people. Yeah. No, but with that said, you know, Kamala Harris is not a bazillionaire. You know, I don't know how badly she wants to hobnob with Richard Branson like Obama. She's kind of, I kind of don't know. I mean, outside of her work as a prosecutor and, you know, attorney general and stuff, I don't really know much about her. She could very well be like, no, wait, you know, like I don't like criminal behavior. I don't like criminal financial behavior. I'm not really interested in defending that like other presidents were, you know. And I don't know. She's kind of unknown on that one. All I do know is that she's a loyal neoliberal Democrat. So that that is very worrying. But you don't get very far in this system, as we see with AOC. You don't get very far in this dirty political system being a guy like me, you know, being a guy that's telling the truth and stuff. Sugar itself doesn't make you diabetes, but if you're drinking shit like that, you will get it. Yeah, okay. Cut the sugar. Cut the sugar. It's really hard. When you cut sugar, it's really actually very difficult. You start to really crave it. At least that's me. So we got two interesting stories here related to, the electorate. This video here showing us a big, almost statistically, insane rise in young black women registering to vote for Kamala. It makes perfect sense to me, right? But then we also have this article here: Pennsylvania Republicans are registering more new voters than Dems, but with the caveat here. Where's the caveat? Big picture, driving the news. Reality check. It can take time for counties to process voter registration data, and there can be often lags, the Inquirer reports. I hate how this Inquirer don't these guys? Oh, the Philadelphia Inquirer. Okay. Never mind. I thought these were the Bat Boy. The Bat Boy, Hillary Clinton has sex with Bat Boy outlet. No, that's not it. So that's interesting. We're kind of seeing, okay, right now, like what we're kind of seeing is kind of conflicting information. But I think this caveat is very important because I think we are seeing. I don't think it's just young black women. I think it's the 100. We're not going to see 175% for any other demographic. But I do think, once this lag is caught up and we actually get some new numbers here, I think across the nation we're going to see a lot of excitement. But maybe not as much as it should be, because I'm still not seeing. I talked about this maybe last weekend. I don't think I talked about it yesterday, but I talked about this where so Kamala's got the $500 million, $500 million in the coffers, lots of small money, small dollar donations. Where's the Get Out the Vote campaign? All right, look, I get it. You're doing your little, whistle stop tour through Georgia and a bunch of other, all the other swing states, whatever. That's great. Where's the Get Out the Vote stuff? Where, you got all these celebrities. How come I'm not seeing obnoxious commercials with celebrities? Obviously, you can't do Rock the Vote because that's embarrassing with P. Diddy. So we just want to forget about that. But where the fuck is the Get Out the Vote campaign, right? How come Chris Hemsworth isn't telling me to go vote? You know what I mean? How come Taylor Swift isn't going telling me to vote? You got $500 million. I'm sure you can get Taylor Swift on a commercial. Right? What's the holdup? Are they waiting? Are they just waiting for the right time? Like, no, it's still 60 days. We want to wait till there's 40 days, and then we're going to dump all of our money in there because we only have this amount of money and this amount of time and this amount of enthusiasm. So maybe it's a strategy thing, but it takes time to you need to, like, a Get Out the Vote campaign needs to be. You can't just do it at the last second. It kind of needs to be a consistent thing. You got to kind of hammer it away. You got to kind of badger people and repeat it. Be really annoying. So like I would want to do it immediately. I would start spending money on this immediately. Like I said, obnoxious celebrities, some fucking obnoxious slogan. Voting is goading. I don't know, some fucking bullshit, something that gets the kids riled up, right? Rock the Vote was Vote or Die was fucking great, right? I love that shit. Right? So where is it? Where is Skibbity Vote? Fucking there we go. Fucking Skibbity Vote. Skibbity Vote. Skibbity Vote. Do it. Vote. Fucking Zoomer. I'm 17. But get the fuck out of my way. Where's your 18-year-old friends? All right. Skibbity vote, right? So you get what I'm saying here. And I'm not seeing it. Maybe I'm blind. Maybe it's because I don't have cable TV and I don't fuck with the mainstream unless it's mainstream news, right? I'm watching too much of it. Maybe I'm missing it. But I don't know. You couldn't miss Vote or Die. That shit was everywhere. It was so everywhere South Park had to make fun of it. You know what I mean? It was everywhere. You could not miss it. I'm not seeing that. And you got $500 million. Okay, are you literally just going to dump all of that into commercials on MSNBC? You know, can we fucking diversify? No, I take that back because they are dumping it in commercials on Fox News and shit. So that's definitely money well spent. Just to piss off your Facebook uncle. I saw a black woman on TV. Oh! Skibbity vote, dude. That's a t-shirt.
We're tracking something really interesting going on right now. It's a surge in voter registration in key groups ahead of the November election. Among young black women, registration is up more than 175%.
Where's the slogan? Where's the celebrities?
Right.
Where's the fun? Where's the party? Where's the events?
In 13 states. That's compared to the same time in 2020. This, according to...
So look at this. So yeah, increase in voter registration, young women, black Americans, black women, young Latinas, and young black women. This is great news. Great news. Joe Biden was losing Latinos to the Republicans. Never happened before in history. You know, never happened before in history. I like the guy that says he's going to do the mass deportation thing. Yeah, that's really awesome.
The data firm TargetSmart. Registration has also increased among young Latinas and black Americans. Tom Bonnier joins us now. He's a senior advisor at TargetSmart.
Okay, we don't need to do this. I'm not going to put you through this. So I just wanted to mention these numbers. I think they're going to be positive. You know, don't believe the hype if you see something negative. Wanted to show this video here because never in a bazillion years could you ever imagine a little girl, you know, excitedly running to Kamala Harris, to Donald Trump, right? And then Donald Trump, oh yeah, oh gosh, okay, put her down, right? Being way too weak and feeble to pick her up. Now, ooh, a kid, ooh, get away from me. You know, like he acts all like, ooh, right? So there's a big difference. And normies love this shit. Okay, they love this shit so much. They love it.
Yeah, I missed you.
But this is great, and this does say a lot about it because, like, I could never imagine Donald Trump doing, even with his own son, right? There's pictures, like the pictures of him and Ivanka are sexual. They don't evoke paternal love. They evoke they do like even. And I'm definitely biased because he's a confirmed pedophile. Jeffrey Epstein, Lolita Express, 14 phone numbers in the black book, etc., etc., etc. So Trump is a confirmed pedophile, but like just the pictures are weird of him and his daughter, right? I just couldn't imagine him holding, Barron. Oh, I love you, son. You're so great, Oh, look at little man. Look at little man. Oh. It's not emulation. That's look. Is she a corrupt corporatist neoliberal who knows what kind of favors she's going to do for corporations, right? Yes, all of that. But she's a legitimate human being. Donald Trump is like an alien, dog.
Bye, honey. I'll see you next time, okay? One more hug.
Oh, one more hug. Oh, okay. Here you go. Yep. Fill in the diaper.
What's your cheer? Come on. There we go.
That is great.
And I'll see you next time.
No, I can never picture Donald. This interaction with Donald Trump would be like, okay, you want to, okay, come in. You want a picture? Okay, leave. Next one, picture. That was a real human reaction, and you can't fake that shit. Thank God. Thank God. Does that mean Palestinians are going to be treated like human beings? Ooh. You know, it's complicated. Wanted to show this because this is the first good point Chris Cuomo has probably made in, I don't know, 7, 8 decades. I don't know how old this crusty son of a bitch is. But Kyle Kulinski reported on this. I had to track the clip down and play it myself because he does make a really, really good point here. Broken clock syndrome, what can you say? It's Chris Cuomo, it's News Nation. We do all the news here, okay? I'm a fucking masochist when it comes to the news, all right? I do it all, baby. Big, small. Cuomo to Amy Goodman, baby. I do it all. Little news slut. What is happening? What is happening? What is going on? Okay, just forget the last 30 seconds happened. Okay, Chris Cuomo talking about the corruption of the DNC.
A big theme here at the DNC is that they're going to go after corporate gouging.
Welcome back, Nematoid.
And they're going to go after corporations, whether it's in taxes, largesse, loopholes. The RNC, we heard the same thing. They're going after the elites, the two sets of rules. Let me reveal a reality to you that has to be spoken to here, okay? These are the soldiers. These are the men and the women that go back to their constituencies and their communities, and they fight. They take time from their jobs. They take time from their families. Republicans and Democrats alike, that's what they do. They need to charge these people up. They need to be able to get them on board. But there's another reality that is literally looking down on them. Greg, look at the ring of sweets, okay? This is not unique to Democrats. There is a game of money. When people talk about uniparty, we are strangled by the money reality in our politics. Those suites start at 500 grand. Yeah. You think there's like a teacher group up in there? You think it's like the Cub Scouts of Columbia County, South Carolina, that's up in those boxes?
No.
Some of them are lobbies and good things. The media boxes, you think they're free? Why do you think I'm on the floor? News Nation is not.
Why do you think you're down there, not up there with because you're a sexual harasser, Chris? I didn't know it was being weird around the interns. I didn't know.
Not a broke company. Nexstar is a massive organization.
But he's right here. He's 100% correct. Like that's where the action is actually happening.
Our corporate media. We don't have one of those boxes because that's the game. You pay to play. Those boxes are filled with the same people that they say they're going to regulate. They're literally looking down on the faithful and being told, yeah, we're going to break down on them. We're going to make them pay their share. They paid 500, 700, $1 million, $1.5 million to have those seats. Yeah. They get hotel suites that are probably gifted to the party. And the same thing is true with the Republican side. And they're going to take them down. They're going to change how it is. They are looking down from on high at the people who make the difference in their communities. And that is the reality of politics. Yeah. And I had my producer walk around and show you those suites. Now, they're not all the same. They're not all the same. But the reality is, in 2000, they spent $300 million on presidential campaigns. 24 years later, you know what they're expected to spend? $10 billion. Do you know how much money Harris has raised in the last couple of weeks? Hundreds of millions, and that's success. A lot of it's small.
So there you go. This is really great footage. Moves the camera aside. Look how fucking fancy it is in there.
Oh, no, a lot of it isn't. The most dangerous money in politics.
Right. Oligarchs, billionaires, corporatists, lobbyists. Right. We got to vote for Harris and then immediately start the pressure campaign, start the campaign to primary Democrats in 2 years across the nation. That's the plan. We just are relentless. That's how we do it. We primary neoliberal Democrats as much as possible. The ones that we don't defeat, we scare. Right? That's how we do it. We're aggressive. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, what about the Republicans? Oh, what do you mean? Oh, you got these litmus tests that are way too high. No, single payer health care is a pretty fair litmus test. Neoliberal Democrat. Especially when 99% of you run on that shit. So like that's if you're a progressive on the left, if you're a social democrat like I am, you know, what do you do? What do you do about this corruption? How do we stop it? Because we obviously can't vote fascist. We're not voting Trump. We're not getting down with that shit. He's not an alternative. He's not counterculture. It's fascism. Ignorant fascism. So we can't get down with that shit. So what do? We got this fucking disgusting, pustule of a party called the neoliberals. Well, we suck it up. We vote, especially if we're in a swing state. We vote for this because personally, as a lefty, I would rather fight against the neoliberal establishment than the right fascist establishment that wants to just put a boot through my face. The neoliberals, you know, for all of their faults, and they're happy to use violence. Don't forget Occupy Wall Street. They're happy to use violence, but they do have limits, and they do respond to political pressure. They're inherently cowards. I'm not saying the right are not cowards, but the right are not cowards to kill. The neoliberals, right? Could you imagine Obama, Occupy Wall Street protests start, people start dying because the heavy-handedness of the cops, and, you imagine Obama not responding and him just, no, he would have to respond to that. So there are limits to where the neoliberals are, where the limits of authoritarianism that the neoliberals are willing to engage in. Don't sleep on them in terms of their capability for authoritarianism, but in terms of, like I said, the establishment that I want to fight the neoliberals. So we vote for them because that's the target we want to hit, and then we just immediately, shamelessly, everywhere that we live across the nation, we primary them, right? And they're going to call us Republicans. They're going to call us, spoil sports, and you're ruining the votes, and all these things. We have to stand strong because, that's exactly what the Tea Party did to the Republicans, and they got exactly what they want, and they continue to get exactly what they want. These right-wing fascists are crawling over each other to please their constituents, right? They're incredibly afraid of their constituency, the right-wing fascist Republicans. The neoliberals are not afraid of their constituency, and we need to change that paradigm if we ever want to fix this. Right. And there will be people that say, well, this is fine. This is OK. They're on our side. A little corruption. It's necessary. They're playing the game. It's always going to be like this. They need to be called out as defeatists. They need to be called out as part of the problem. Right. And yeah, if you want to call them not true leftists, whatever, you want to get into that argument, I don't recommend it. But I would just point out that it's counterproductive, that things will never get better with that attitude, and it is a defeatist attitude to just say, well, they're better than the right, so just vote for them and hope for the best, and eventually things will get better. They're wildly incompetent and incredibly corrupt, the neoliberal political establishment. So anyway, moving on. We got here. Yeah, so I wanted to show some good news, great footage. The unionization, that is sweeping across fast food, is great. We saw it with Starbucks, saw it with Amazon, and now we're seeing it Subway. These incredibly exploited fast food workers are getting paid pittance. To make these companies billions of dollars. The quality of the food has gone down. The quantity of the food has gone down. The prices have shot up. And guess who's not enjoying any of those profits? Right? The workers, the sandwich artists. Okay? Someone please think of the Jareds. Oh wait, that's right. Shit. Anyway, forget about that guy. But this is great. This is great news. Keep it up. Union strong, more unions, right? The fast food workers union is amazing. Make sure you're following them. We got the California Fast Food Workers Union right here. I'll give them the follow. Fuck it, I'll give them the follow. Look it up. Do the same. Spread the message. Oh, now you're too good to even spread the message on social media, huh? Now we've just completely given up. We're not even going to do the social media activism anymore, huh? That's what we're going to be. Why is it so expensive? Inflation is a part of it, but the main reason is something called greedflation. Type greedflation into YouTube, and you'll learn something. Moving on to the next story. So this is really something else. This really shows Jared is eating a green bologna sub right now. Yeah. They don't like pedophiles in jail. We'll just say that. They're not big fans, and that guy ain't leaving. That guy ain't leaving, dude. You know, he was Jimmy Savile 2.0, except he wasn't, in his heyday. Jimmy Savile in the 70s could get away with anything. Not so much with Jared, and that's great. That's a good thing. No, so this video, I had to show it to you guys because it really shows a difference between who they are and who we are. And I'm generalizing here. Not everyone on our side are smart doctors, and not everyone on their side are raging, angry, I don't know, planning a mass shooting, in his free time, kind of looking dudes, right? It's not fair to generalize, but I there's some truth to it. I think there's some truth to it. The left is generally more professional, more intelligent, more, well-read, better educated, more cocky. Okay. It's hard to tell though. Like these Trumpers, like, does anyone get any more cocky than a Trumper shouting in a fucking bullhorn, stop the steal? Is anything more cocky than that? But all right. The left isn't perfect, but I thought this video was really interesting because this doctor, while he's like filling out medical reports, slam dunks this guy so fucking hard without even trying. It's like you would hope that this guy would kind of maybe see this video and maybe realize that he just got fucking bazookaed, but he won't, right? Oh, liberal, fake news immediately, right? Oh, you're lying. It's all lies. You're saying things I don't agree with. So this video is interesting.
Hey, Democrats, without mentioning Donald Trump, tell me why you're going to vote for Kamala Harris.
Okay.
Sure, I'll give it a try. She's going to protect access to abortion, birth control, and in vitro fertilization. She's going to cut taxes for the middle class.
Look, he's got those pussy-ass, poser-ass masks that don't do a single thing, right, Joe Rogan, right? This pussy-ass guy doesn't even, look at these stupid fake degrees he's got up there. I bet he doesn't even know Taekwondo, right, Joe? Right? These stupid things don't even work, right, Joe?
She's going to raise the minimum wage. She's going to protect LGBTQ plus people. She's going to decrease medical debt and school debt. She's going to take care of our troops. She's going to address climate change.
I don't have time to respond to the ignorance I'm seeing in my chat. I'm just going to show it the door.
She's going to protect unions. She's going to improve our infrastructure. She's going to protect and expand access to Medicare, Medicaid, and the Affordable Care Act. She's going to confront Big Pharma to decrease the cost of prescription drugs. She's going to support Ukraine and all of our NATO allies. She's going to make sure that history is continued to be taught in public schools. She's going to sign a bipartisan bill to address the southern border. She's going to respect the separation of church and state. She's going to negotiate to bring hostages home in Israel and work towards a two-state solution.
Okay, I take it back. He's reading these off the screen. I thought he was doing work while he was doing this, but no, he's reading this off the screen. Anyway, you get the point. You get the point. This whole, like, you have Trump derangement syndrome coming from the guy who puts the Trump flag on the thing. He's got the Trump shirt and the Trump hat, and he's got a daughter that puts the Trump on the forehead. Yeah, you guys are obsessed with Trump. Okay. And yeah, real quick to this idiot's comment, pay $20 for cooking burgers. People deserve a living wage. And if a company can't do business without paying a living wage to its employees, that business doesn't deserve to exist. The anti-worker sentiment, the anti-union sentiment coming from ignorant people on the right fascinates me, because a grand majority of the people on the right would benefit greatly from unionization in their industries. Higher wages, better standards, higher safety. I hate that stuff. I want to get ripped off. I love getting fucked. Okay, man, that's your thing. Oh, what? You want to get more money for your work and labor? Oh, you fucking communist. I love getting ripped off by my boss. Real Americans get fucked by their bosses. So I wanted to talk about two incidences before we get to America's favorite news segment, the mass shooting update. But the tragedy of Breonna Taylor, her murder by police. The cops have been, the charges have been thrown out because, of course, we knew it was coming. Wait until everything dies down, and now the charges are thrown out. And of course, this man's a Second Amendment hero. He started, from his perspective, all he knew, someone was breaking into the house. He picked up his gun that he legally purchased and legally owned and started firing at what he thought was assailants. And then the cops used that as excuse to gun down and kill Breonna Taylor. Somehow the guy survived, I think. So he's a Second Amendment hero. And, of course, the right, well, he's black, though. So, no, that's got to, no, well. Second Amendment doesn't count for black and brown people. Didn't you guys know that? But this is why we riot. This is why, we get in the street. This is why because it's, got to tear this motherfucker up. I don't like it. I don't like seeing property damage. I don't like seeing it. But 1 + 1 = 2. You treat people with this kind of disrespect, they're not going to take that shit. And they shouldn't have to. This woman was murdered in her bed by cops, and they weren't even at the right house. I think something like that, some kind of fake thing, or they weren't even at the right house, or you got all these pro Second Amendment cops, right? Oh yeah, everyone, America, they all vote for all the same right-wing shit, all these cops, right? And then what? They're surprised when bullets start flying when they kick a guy's door down. I just wanted every American to have a gun, but not like this. Murder them. I was not expecting to receive, return fire. We only kicked the door down with no, and not announcing who we are. We don't, the footage. I think they're announcing who they are when they're like shooting, or something like, oh, it's a cop. It's the cops. We're the cops. If I remember the footage correctly, I haven't seen it in a while. But here's your update. As we all knew it was coming, cops are let off for committing murder. Right? And the Second Amendment lovers, the fucking, right? Gun guys, gun liberty guys, everyone deserves a nuclear weapon guys. Silent. Oh, well, he was black. She was black. Come on. Probably bought the gun illegally. Probably bought it up the street for a crack rock. Right? That shit. Fucking hypocrites. Next tragedy. I can't show you the footage. Shooting shock. Horrifying moment. Cops storm woman's apartment and shoot her dead within 5 seconds of opening door as body cam footage released. So this is this happened just a couple weeks ago with a different black woman. Remember, I showed the footage there right before she was gunned down. She was in her kitchen. She was like joking with the cops, right? He's like, you better not throw that water at me. And she's like, she said something religious, like, I would, sanctify the demons or something like that. And he goes, what'd you say to me? What'd you say to me? And shoots her dead. And he goes to his colleagues. Well, I didn't want her throwing that pot of boiling water at me. She didn't even have the pot in her hand. It was on the stove. I didn't want to get a pot of boiling water thrown at me. I had to murder her. You'll be let off. Just like these cops are going to get let off. Horrifying body cam footage of a police officer killing a woman within moments of opening her apartment. So she was having a mental health issue. She had a knife. The cops knew that. They were there for a wellness check. The mother was, I think the mother or whoever the person was, is this even a black woman? I don't even think it's a black woman. It's all justified, right? Any Second Amendment guy, right? Any of the right winger, pro gun, the thin blue line guys who got their ass kicked, on January 6th by the cops that they bootlicked for. It's all justified. It's all justified. It's all justified. My safety, my safety, my safety. Right. This is what we need: de-escalation specialists to accompany cops on wellness checks. There's actually been several programs that have started in the United States where cops are being accompanied by mental health experts. And it's been wildly successful because cops are not trained for this shit. They're not trained for this shit. You want to know more about this sickening story and you want to see the footage for yourself? You want to see someone get murdered in their own home for having a mental health issue? Have fun. We got to do something really fun and great and everyone's favorite thing to do. Everyone loves doing it. Fun thing. It's the mass shooting update. All right, let's see how many people died in America today. 429 U.S. mass shootings in 2024. These are rookie numbers. We got to hit 600 by the end of the year. You know we got to do it. 6,383 mass shootings since 2013. And quite frankly, this number needs to be cracking 10,000 before we hit 2025. Don't you agree? 2 whole days since the last mass shooting? Come on. Come on. Wait, no. We can do better than that. We can do better than that. Over there in Euclid, Ohio, 1 dead and 4 injured. Juvenile victim, 17-year-old boy killed, 4 other juveniles wounded. Well, I'm sure the altercation that they got in was, worthy of a gun battle. Someone called their girlfriend a slut. Someone said they had acne. You got a pizza face. Pistol's got to come out. A mass shooting is defined. We define mass shootings as a single outburst of violence in which 4 or more people are shot. This is not the same as a mass murder as defined by the FBI. Does that help, Nematode? Over there in Tuclara, California, 0 dead and 4 injured, gunman unknown. Yeah, it is quite bright. I do agree. Here, let me help you out here. You can see the murder, and a little better. Philadelphia, PA, 0 dead and 4 injured, gunman unknown. Jonesboro, Arkansas. Why does that sound familiar? 0 dead and 4 injured. Preliminary, unclear if all 4 victims were shot. Juvenile victims, 9 to 10-year-old children among the wounded. Right. Suspects, Duraki Nesby, 24. Kaylon Tamir Chandler, 25. Shooting involved an AR-15 and an AK-47. Well, it was their right to have these deadly military weapons. They're not military. They're classified as civilian there, smart guy. Come on. Come on. Those were civilian military weapons. Come on. Over there in Warner Robins, Georgia, 0 dead and 4 injured, gunman unknown. I'm so bad at the abbreviations. But there you go, folks. That's America's favorite news segment, brought to you, of course, by Garbage Fuel. Garbage Fuel would like to remind you that this is your new normal. Where is my Garbage Fuel logo? Hello? There it is. This is your new normal. Going to a church, going to an event, going to a grocery store. You too can be caught up in a mass shooting. Thank you so much, gun anarchists, right-wing maniacs, and of course, feckless, weak, disgusting, milquetoast neoliberals who do absolutely nothing about this problem. Let's not forget Sandy Hook happened under Barack Obama, and he did fucking nothing. Let's not forget that. Thank you so much.
You're a dumbass. Such a dumbass.
Barack Obama's a dumbass. Oh, remember the speech? Remember the Sandy Hook speech? Remember the picture of him writing the Sandy Hook speech in the school? Remember that? Didn't do a fucking thing. Not a fucking thing. Whole pile of dead kids. You really should read the police report on Sandy Hook. All the scared kids ran into the bathroom, and the teacher was inches away from actually closing the door before the murderer was able to get there and fill the whole room with bullets. That was Sandy Hook. Barack Obama did nothing. Anyway, thank you so much, Garbage Fuel, for sponsoring that segment. That is the end of the U.S. segment for today. I'm going to move on to world news. How much time do I have? Not much. we are going to skip world news because we have to get into Ukraine. I have precious little time, and we have to talk about Ukraine. We have to talk about the success in Kursk and the not so success in Pokrovsk or Petrovsk or however you say it. 1 second here. I always feel so invigorated after the mass shooting update. I certainly don't feel defeated every time I report on these mass shootings. No way. Wanted to start off with this right here just to get the blood fucking pumping. This kind of is just a recap of the last month of what was happening on the left in Kursk, and then what's also happening in Ukraine. On the Russia advancing in the Donbass, and of course Ukraine advancing in Kursk. And hope you got your headphones here and are ready to rock. It is. That's the amount of troops. The middle is the amount of troops committed to what's happening here. I found this part of the video most interesting because as you can see there, this is by August 24th, Russia has finally gotten their shit together and has actually started to push back and also push a little bit, more aggressively in the direction in Ukraine. But then quickly we see how quickly Ukraine responds to that change, and we immediately see them growing their advantage once again. So you see it push back, right? Reinforcements finally showed up. Ukraine changes tactics and, of course, throws in even more troops. And then, boom, takes it back. But just to give you just to show you what Ukraine is capable of in the same amount of time and how badly they've been fighting, this advance, and how I mean, what we're not seeing is the amount of people who have died on Russia's side to achieve these meager gains. Tens of thousands of Russian troops slaughtered to achieve just that. So are we supposed to believe that if that they'll be able to get to Kyiv keeping up this pace? No. There's not enough human beings in Russia. If this is the pace, right? But the problem is that if they hit certain key areas, that makes hitting other areas easier. So that's what Ukraine is trying to avoid. They're trying to avoid hitting, for Russia to hit this town, because that will give them access to a multi-directional, that will expand the front in a way that will be really disadvantage. That would really disadvantage Ukraine. One front line was completely unguarded, and the other was highly dug in, fought battles for many months. Yeah, not completely unguarded, but yeah, I mean the initially, yeah, the first like week, but anyway, I thought that video was cool. So I just got a bunch of videos, bunch of things here I wanted to show you pertaining to what's happening in Kursk and what's happening in like in the Donbass area. So that's just the focus here. Ukrainian authorities announced mandatory evacuation of Pokrovsk via loudspeakers. Another 30,000 to 65,000 people losing their economic and social existence due to Russian hordes storming the area. Ready for new refugees? Olaf Scholz, talking to Germany here. Yeah, the hand wringing, we're so worried about escalation arguments are still totally ridiculous. With that said, I do have a couple videos here of military experts going into why some of these decisions might make sense from their perspective, not from the Ukrainian perspective, but from the West perspective. I don't agree with them. Just reading this insane comment from this person's pooping in the shower. Great. So there's a right-wing resurgence in Germany. Great. That's really awesome. Cool. Looking forward to that. Nothing worrying about a right-wing party gaining a bunch of power in Germany. So this, this is bad news for Ukraine. It almost sounds like Zelensky's voice. It never led to bad things. Yeah, you're right. It's the worst that could happen. Come on. No one's worried? Yeah, you're right. I'm overreacting. It was a long time ago. It's World War II was World War II even 100 years ago? I'm gonna keep my eye on thoughts rejected from liberal arts universities. I mean, it doesn't sound like Zelensky to me. Maybe I'm just racist. That's why. But anyway, it's not, it's like as much as the Kursk offensive is good for morale, this is not good for morale. And it's I don't know why this is, but when Ukraine loses 1 kilometer of territory, the media treats it like it's the apocalypse. When they gain 10 kilometers, the media completely sleeps. So I don't know why that is. I don't know what the bad news is. Goes farther, it gets more clicks. Maybe that's why. But Ukraine can't catch a break in the media. They're like, they love to report bad news, and they will actively ignore really good news unless it's spectacular like Kursk. But even in Kursk, 2 days after talking about, wow, this is crazy, this is spectacular, they're like, oh, this is not going to work. This is really bad news. And I'm generalizing. Kursk offensive proves that even literally occupying Russian territory doesn't lead to a nuclear response. That's such a great point. That would be really ironic if the nuke that Russia finally drops is on their own territory. That would really be something. So here's just, the footage of the panic, Ukrainians having to leave their homes, to be raided and ransacked by the Russians and likely blown up by the Russians and maybe even their own country if Russians decide to, cordon themselves off in their house. I couldn't imagine. You live in a place, maybe your whole life, maybe a part of your life, you bought a house, you're doing everything right, you're trying to survive. And then you got to leave, and then you come back to a rubble pile, a bunch of bullshit that, it seems like, a million miles away from you, these guys fighting over this stuff. And the end result is that you now live in a rubble pile. I couldn't imagine. I really couldn't imagine what's even going through these people's heads, You really got to live it to even really be able to empathize.
I'm in the city of Pokrovsk,
really
in eastern Ukraine. It's a place that is currently under siege by Russian forces.
Simply, Steve,
Ukraine is, of course, trying to hold them off, but this advance by the Russians has really spurred a huge evacuation in the city. The Russian forces, they're only 9 kilometers away, and they've been advancing very steadily towards this key logistical hub for the Ukrainian forces over the past few months, ever since they seized Avdiivka in the east. The situation in Pokrovsk is quite dire. It's really emptying out. The streets are quiet. There used to be 80,000 people in this Ukrainian city. Now there are around 35,000 left, according to authorities. And as you can see, people are leaving this city every single day. This is a train that takes people to Dnipro in the east of the country, a big city that is a real refugee hub.
Все уезжают, все бросают все. Даже наши соседи все бросили в спешке, в панике, все побросали и поехали. Взяли 2 чемодана и уехали. Потому что после выбуха у нас был прилет 29 числа. У нас полностью заруйнован дом. Нам негде жить у нас. Осталось 3 стены и все.
The schools are being emptying out. They're taking desks out of the schools and equipment. They're taking equipment out of hospitals.
Wow. That's I mean, that's really smart. You know, that's really smart. They're not leaving in a total panic. But yeah, that, you know, they're trying to save as much of this equipment, this essential stuff as possible, because they know it's going to get burnt up when the Russians get there. It's depressing, but it's smart. Another thing, a nuclear responsive video. I don't want to even talk about nukes today. I made my point on nukes. I'm utterly convinced that even if Putin was a madman and was demanding the nuclear button to be pushed, that his military would say, nah, that's too fucking far, dude. You know, you lost your fucking mind. Every action so far by the Russian government tells me that they don't have the fucking balls, that they know exactly what will happen if they bust out a nuclear weapon, how that would negatively affect their economy, their politics, their future as a country, depending on how many nukes and what they fire. So I don't even want to motherfucking talk about it. It's so ridiculous. It's so off the table. Oh, the threats. Be so worried. I'm not scared. And if you are, you're kind of a sucker. I don't know what to say. Like, obviously, it's a serious thing. Mutually assured destruction. But what are we talking about here? They're not gonna fire off a nuke for Crimea.
And they're moving all of these things, including from cultural centers into the city, into warehouses further west in the country, to prevent the Russian forces from getting their hands on them. The real fear here is that Pokrovsk, this big logistical hub that is kind of at a crossroads for Ukraine, that supplies forces further to the north of the country, that Pokrovsk is going to become the next Bakhmut or Avdiivka, another city.
If they're already preemptively emptying out hospitals and schools of equipment, that they have to be building massive trenches. They have to be ready. No, the entire city is going to be leveled, but if it's this important. Avdiivka wasn't that important. Not like Pokrovsk is. Petrovsk. Not like this place. It's not nearly as important. So they're not going to give it up easy.
The Russian forces are just going to pummel to the ground and raise, in a tactic that we've seen them apply to lots of different cities in Ukraine's east.
Thank you, Tisri.
Евакуюємося, як і всі. Боїмося.
Okay, hold on. One more time. Hold on. God damn it. She rolled her tongue. How do you do that?
Евакуюємося, як і всі. Боїмося. Страшно. Що буде далі, ніхто не знає. Очень не хочеться виїжджати. І родные остаются здесь. Это страшно.
The fear is that the houses that still stand in this city and the real cultural life that until recently was still here is just going to completely disappear as Russian forces start to bombard it. They're already within
that is exactly what's going to happen.
Artillery range. The Russian forces may be at the gates of this city and they may be assaulting it very, very soon.
And this is embarrassing. This is like, heads need to roll for this. Heads really do need to roll for this. Maybe it was inevitable though. Then maybe it was like there's just literally no choice. Like the amount of, you know, maybe that's why heads aren't rolling, because we saw with the F-16 getting downed and the pilot getting killed, you know, that commander, that person who was in charge, he got immediately fired. So maybe this is just something that they can't control. you know, that Russia is insisting that they want this and they're dumping enough resources to make that happen. But I mean, you really have to see the videos. You really have to see the drone video, just slowly, dozens and dozens and dozens of Russian dead bodies just left out there bloating, corpse, you know, flies everywhere. It's crazy. The amount of death, the amount of bodies that they're throwing at this, you know, it's like from the Alien, you know, that turret scene. They just keep coming. They don't care. Eventually the gun's going to run out of ammo, and it does. You got to run back.
International Affairs editor Rob Parsons. Rob, analysts are saying that this offensive is coming at a high cost for Russia of lives and troops. So why are they pouring so much effort and resources into what's a relatively small town?
Yeah, I mean, it's before the war, this is a town of 60,000 people. I think there are believed to be about 35,000 at the moment, and they're being rapidly evacuated. But the town is important because of its position across important road links and rail links. And if the Russians get it, it will break up Ukrainian communications right along that eastern front, from Vuhledar in the south right up to Konstantinivka, and beyond that to Kramatorsk, all important towns.
They're probably booby-trapping the fuck out of this town, the Ukrainians, right? If they're already out there emptying everything, they've got to be thinking about preemptive trenches, you know, getting this city ready for a massive, massive battle.
Which the Ukrainians are trying to defend. That is why the Russians are putting so much pressure on. And they're using what have been called meat grinding tactics, pouring troops in, pressing forward, using their advantage in numbers and in equipment to push the Ukrainians back, which they are doing. They took the town of Avdiivka back in February, in large part because of the failure of the United States to provide weaponry over several months to
Mike
Ukraine.
Johnson's
But since
doing
then,
right there.
the Russians have managed to grind forward another 30 kilometers or so, and now we're within about 10 kilometers of Pakrovsk. The thing, too, about Pakrovsk is they don't actually need to take the town itself. All they need to do is be close to it, and then they can control the road and rail links, because they can fire their artillery and make it impossible for the Ukrainians to supply those towns that I was talking about, towns like Vuhledar to the southwest, Konstantinivka, Horlivka, Kramatorsk, up towards the north. If they can do that, it makes life really tough for the Ukrainians.
And what do we know about President Volodymyr Zelensky's plan for victory? He alluded to it earlier this week. He said he'd present it to Joe Biden and Biden's potential successors, Harris and Trump.
Yeah, it's all a little bit vague. It has to be.
Eventually, Sir Smoke-a-Lot, but the military analyst that I showed on stream a couple weeks ago talked about, you know, okay, how many people need to die before the Russian population even starts paying attention? We're up to around 500,000, probably over 500,000 right now. The estimate was around over 2 million to maybe even 3 million would die before the Russian public would even start giving a fuck. But it's all speculation, but, you know, it's just based off of previous, previous data and whatnot.
Be said, at the moment, the defense minister and the chief of the president's office are both in the United States, and it's believed that they're going to be certainly there will be a meeting with Lloyd Austin, the U.S. Secretary of Defense, and other high-ranking American government officials as well. I think the idea at this stage is that they're presenting to the Americans targets deep inside Russia, which they need approval from the United States.
Yeah, and would you believe they're not kindergartens and maternity wards? Yeah, no, we're talking about airfields. We're talking about oil fields. We're talking, you know, that kind of stuff. And the military analysts that I'm gonna show you a little bit later here, they point out, you know, Russia is just going to move their stuff back even farther. It's not going to affect the day-to-day military, but it will still. It still creates problems. It still creates hindrances. It's still, you know, it makes Putin look bad. It makes Putin look weak. Like, there's a bunch of reasons outside of just direct frontline military, effectiveness to be hitting these targets deep into Russian territory. It's just fucking ridiculous.
To attack. This is what it's all about. That's certainly one of the components of the plan for victory. Another component has been the operation in Kursk region over the last few weeks, where the Ukrainians have successfully invaded Russia, pushed them back by about 35 kilometers, in a demonstration to the United States and others that the notion of Russian red lines beyond which Russia might, for instance, use nuclear weapons against the West or against Ukraine, are in reality a fiction of the imagination. They're just not going to happen.
Look, and he's probably read a couple books and maybe even went to college and stuff. Not like me over here, okay, guys? Okay? Look, you know, I talk a lot of shit, but I really do try to base the things that I say off of the information that I receive and not my feelings, right? Because if we went off that, it'd be like, dude, Ukraine's kicking ass, you know, fuck Putin, you know, fuck Russia, you know, blah, blah. It'd be a bunch of emotion. But you know, when I'm trying to, you know, I'm trying to give you the shit that I'm hearing. I'm trying to give you the straight dope as I hear it. Now, does that mean, you know, I got to be worried about the people I'm listening to, right? And that's why I try to get as many as I can going, as many different opinions. It's hard to keep everything in you know, together, but smart guy, knows what he's talking about. I don't know. He's on the news. I don't know. I have no idea who this guy is. Welcome from south of Boston. It's your boy Lenny. Thank you for coming back.
So I think on the one hand, Ukraine's trying to do that. On the other, it's trying to make sure that the United States and its Western backers stick together on the diplomatic and economic fronts as well. Zelensky is going to the United States, to New York, in September for the UN General Assembly, and it's thought that he'll put together his victory plan, the details of which we don't know yet, comprising 4 elements of the ones I've just been talking about.
All right, Rob, thank you very much for keeping an eye.
His name's Rob. Hey, it's Rob. Right, don't play fair. Yeah, that's for sure. The neoliberals certainly don't play fair when it comes to progressives. Let's not forget what they did to Bernie. But yeah, no, the right, they're throwing the rule book away. The right are interested in authoritarianism. The right wants to tell you what to do and then tell a cop to tell you to shut the fuck up when you say no. That's what the right is up to. So this is a pretty epic 30-minute video. I was planning on playing the whole thing because I wanted to torture everybody. But no, Dennis is great. We're not going to watch the whole 30 minutes, but we are going to watch 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes or so. But Dennis really gets into the details here, talking about the specifics, you know, what he's hearing from people on the ground. He's got sources, tell you what to do, who to fuck, when to have. Exactly, Tisrael. So this is all about, you know, from a Ukrainian's perspective, a very pro-Ukrainian, very patriotic guy. He's been doing this show since the very beginning, does his homework. He has connections with the Ukrainian Air Force and other soldiers. He talks to, you know, he's got his own bias. He's a citizen journalist. He's not perfect. He's another source. So grain of salt, as always, right? He's not Ukrainian Jesus or anything, even though he's very handsome. But he's not afraid to be critical. Whereas reporting from Ukraine, I watch every video from reporting from Ukraine every single day, and quite honestly, he's avoided these topics, and it's obviously intentional. Maybe there's other places where he does talk about it, but he really doesn't give you the map analysis of Ukrainian failures very often. Whereas Dennis is not afraid to give us some straight dope. So let's hear what his opinion is. Like I said, we're not going to do the whole 30-minute video. But let's hear what his opinion is on the current situation, and why this is happening. And, you know, is this intentional? Is this a failure? You know, what is this incompetence? What's happening here? Everyone assumes my name is about politics, but I'm talking about my right and left hand during self-pleasure. Lame. Pretty lame. Pretty lame. Oh, no, I mean, no. He masturbates. Oh, I'm doing it right now. No, I'm just kidding. Hilarious. That's really funny. Wow. Men do be masturbating. All right. Let's watch this.
Hello my friends and welcome, my name is Dennis and this is the latest update from Ukraine. Today I'm gonna speak about Ukrainian front lines and about the very difficult situation, almost disaster situation in Pokrovsk direction.
Okay. And
guys,
just so you know, this video is a couple days old, 2 days old, okay? Not too much has changed, but I did try to find, you know, as much up-to-date information on Pokrovsk. I know I fucked it up again, didn't I? I did try to find as much up-to-date information as I could on the situation. So if you have anything that contradicts what he's saying, you know, if any of his predictions are wrong and you have some information to the contrary, please don't be shy to put that in the chat.
I have to speak about it because I'm here to tell the truth. In this video, I'm gonna rely to one of the biggest Ukrainian volunteers, Sergei Sternenko, who came out with this recent update about Pokrovsk and the Eastern Front Lines, Ukrainian army in general. He described the situation from the point of view of the Ukrainian armed soldiers who obviously in contact with Sternenko. As far as I remember, according to statistics, every fourth drone in Ukrainian army was collected by this volunteer. If we speak about FPV drones especially, so this guy is hard to be accused of working on Russia, right? He has the YouTube channel and yesterday he came out with a video which is called Catastrophic Situation in Pokrovsk, just one step away from the frontline collapse. He said that the Ukrainian soldiers asked him to record this video to raise the awareness of what is really happening. By the way, I'll put his channel and this particular video in the video description just below. It is in Ukrainian, but you may switch on the subtitles in English. Auto translate, and here you select your particular language, for example English. Well, maybe it will not translate correctly, but anyways you'll have at least something. In this video I'll share the same.
Okay, yeah, we're not, you know, we're not going to go that deep right into this, but it is interesting to hear, you know, and I actually have a video of a Russian military guy, you know, talking about the failures in Kursk. So I kind of have the both sides here. It's kind of interesting how this is happening. But I want to make very clear, Russia is advancing by inches. Ukraine is advancing by miles. Does that matter? I don't know. Time will tell. Time will tell. But there's a big difference in effectiveness, right? And the only way Russia can make up that deficiency is with overwhelming personnel and material. The moment either one of those dries up for whatever reason, that's it. That the whole strategy falls apart. If Russia can't send another wave, if there isn't another wave to send, I don't know if that'll ever happen. I don't know, man. That's because like this is the kind of war that they love to fight. This is exactly the kind of war that they love to fight. Just throwing bodies and tanks from the 60s at it until it goes away.
Thoughts, but in my own way. So let's start about the reviewing picture in general, why Pokrovsk is so important and where Russia attacks. As you see, by the way, judging on the Institute for the Study of War map, Russia moves closer and closer to Pokrovsk. Also, they expand sideways daily. Every day they take from 300 meters up to 1 kilometer of the Ukrainian land. I mean, they go forward by that distance. And definitely there is not much...
how come trenches and things weren't built after Avdiivka? I don't understand. Why? I don't get it. Is it just a total zero? I had 0 people. This is literally the best I could do. It seems like there was a lack of planning or something here. I don't know. I'm not an expert.
Distance left towards Pokrovsk and the other settlement, which is also big, Mirnograd. Still, Pokrovsk and Mirnograd are not the cities, those are towns, but it is not that important as the strategic meaning of Pokrovsk. I think for the deep state map it will be easier to show. Pokrovsk used to be one of the main strategic hubs for Ukrainian army. It's the main crossroad for the railroad connection and also it has the highway which goes all across Donbass. The highway connects the rest of the Ukraine via Pokrovsk with Konstantinovka and Chasiv Yar. Chasiv Yar was...
So somewhere in this video, Dennis brings it up, but they're apparently in Tisrael and Chemgoblin, you can confirm this a little bit better than I can because you're Ukrainian. But there is apparently still kind of the Soviet mentality of you know, people not giving the full truth to their commanders. You know, basically lying to commanders about what's actually happening on the front line. Thank you for that follow, Mac. I'm just going to call you Mac. So apparently that continues to be a problem in the Ukrainian military, where Zelensky and Syrskyi are not receiving accurate information because the people below them don't want to tell them the truth.
Partially occupied, by the way, by the Russian armed forces.
So people get penalized for
Konstantinivka is
lying,
not that
though.
far away.
Okay.
That's the city. And Konstantinivka is the part of this agglomeration of the cities. Slavyansk, Kramatorsk, Drushkivka. Basically, one settlement goes to the other with almost no break. And if you check out the highways, there is only one highway left, I mean the big one, just from the northern part towards Slavyansk.
And let's not forget, logistics wins wars. No matter how good Ukrainian frontline soldiers are, they need food, they need water, they need ammo. And they're not going to be able to fight without it.
So by advancing to Pokrovsk, Russia cuts this large part of the logistics. And for Ukraine, it will be really hard to maintain those two areas under control in this case. Logistics is like blood for the military. Without it, the military will not survive. And guys, judging on the advancement of the Russian army, I almost have no doubts that they will go and take Pokrovsk. From that place, they have two of the variants. So yes, you may say that Pavlograd is really far away, and let me show you it. So here is Pavlograd, and this is Pokrovsk. Really far away, but the problem is that between Pavlograd and Pokrovsk there are just a few of the settlements. Mostly those are just the fields, but mainly there is the free way to go, almost no water obstacles, nothing. It might give the Russian army operational freedom to act in this place. And Pavlograd itself is not far away from the Dnipro city. But my opinion that Russia will concentrate for now in Donetsk Oblast because it's their political goal to take it under control. Even with the Kursk operation, which is quite successful for the Ukrainian armed forces, Russia hesitates to move their forces out from the Pokrovsk direction from eastern front lines. No, they send more reinforcements. Yeah, because of the Kursk operation, I was blinded a little about the situation on the Ukrainian front lines. I thought that Russia definitely might use their forces now in Kursk, but Putin has different goals. He's ready to struggle on the Russian territory for an unknown period of time, but commit his goals in Ukraine. If Ukrainian political and army command thought that Russia would withdraw their forces from the east, it was the goal of the Kursk operation, well, that goal hasn't been reached so far, and probably...
Because if what Ukraine is doing in Kursk doesn't affect the reality of the rest of the front line, and then Putin keeps pushing, forcing Ukraine to pull out of Kursk, the whole thing was a waste of time. And quite frankly, an embarrassing failure. Even if, so why hold that when you're losing critical Ukrainian territory, right? It's a total gamble. Right now, it still seems pretty brilliant. We do have some evidence of some resources being moved away from frontline positions into Kursk. But if Russia can, just with an incredible amount of personnel and materiel, reinforce these areas without actually changing the reality, it does put a lot of pressure on Zelensky's Kursk strategy. No doubt about it.
Will never be reached. I think in general the Russian regime doesn't care about their people, and it was shown in the Kursk operation that Putin paid $150 for each Russian.
But I mean, Putin, he can depend on the kindness of the Ukrainians. Putin knows that Ukrainian soldiers aren't torturing people in Kursk. He knows the civilian population is perfectly fine. I mean, not perfectly fine. That's still a war zone, right? But they're not being targeted by the Ukrainian military. So Putin, as the bad guy, can depend on the good guys, kindness and use that as a weakness. It's classic villain shit, dude. The villains are winning.
Who was forced to leave his or her home. And the rest of the Russian population, or the rest of the Russia, they simply do not care. So the Ukrainian really effective operation in Kursk hasn't yet influenced the political stability in the Russian Federation. Guys, I record the videos every day just because of your support. I rely now on short topics. So Russia now advances in 3 of the main direction. Obviously Pokrovsk, then Toretsk, and Vuhledar. No. They want to take Vuhledar under control.
We got to stop fantasizing about Putin dying. We got to accept the reality that he needs to be forced out. The only thing Putin is going to respond to is strength and force. That's the language he speaks.
because it's the main settlement for Ukrainian defense of this entire area, and Ukraine uses artillery systems placed somewhere near Vuhledar to cut the Russian supplies. I mean, artillery systems are still capable to reach this railroad for the Russian army supplies, which gradually disturbs the Russian logistics. So they want to move the Ukrainian army further away, and it is only possible by taking Vuhledar under control. Russia already wasted thousands of their troops for this operation for 2 of the years, but it seems like now finally they're successful, unfortunately for us and unfortunately for Ukraine. But Pokrovsk is way more important than Vuhledar, and I would say it's the key city for all of the Donetsk Oblast, for Donbass, judging on its strategic and logistics role. And you see, this is the border with Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. It's not really far away from Pokrovsk, so by reaching the city and little further away, Russia will reach the border with Donetsk Oblast. Yeah, this border is not the wall, but basically they will cut the Donetsk Oblast in 2 with this operation. For now, we just witnessed the tactical crisis of the Ukrainian armed forces in Pokrovsk direction, but if Russia takes those settlements together with Pokrovsk, it will lead to the strategic crisis of Ukrainian army on the east. And there is the great chance, as I told you, in this worst case scenario, that the Ukrainian defense will start to collapse in other directions, for example here, because of the poor logistics. All this crisis in Pokrovsk direction started from Avdiivka. So after the fall of Avdiivka, Ukrainian army told, okay, we're gonna withdraw our army to the more prepared positions, and definitely they were prepared in this place. After Russia occupied Avdiivka, they moved forward. And
now we got a history lesson here. I'm not gonna push you any farther here on this. If you want to see the rest of this video, and I do highly recommend you watch the rest of this video, here's the link right here. Thank you so much, Dennis. Keep up the good work, buddy. So we're gonna keep the stream going here. We're gonna keep this goddamn thing going. More footage. This is what Russians did to a building full of families in Kharkiv while the U.S. protects the Russian airfields launching these attacks. Several children are already among the many victims. So, I mean, the reality is, though, is that even if Zelensky was allowed to hit these locations, this wouldn't stop. They would just move these resources. Like I said, there's other reasons besides, you know, frontline effectiveness to hit these military locations. But yeah, Ukraine strikes a military target, Russia strikes a civilian one. Who are the bad guys? Oh, it's so hard to tell. You know, and normally I don't speak in terms of good guy, bad guy, but I've never, you know, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I've never seen a more clear, morally just fight than the one I'm seeing right now in Ukraine. In my lifetime. So the Lithuania FM landed Burgas. Quote, Russian planes are better protected by the Western guarantees than Ukrainians. That's a fact. So I like this. I like the cut of this guy's jib. I don't know if he's a right-wing opportunist, or if he's saying this to benefit his own politics. Likely he is. But I certainly like what he has to say. So let's have a listen.
You know, even though it sounds like a joke, but we're protecting Russian skies more. You know, Russian planes are better protected by the Western guarantees than Ukrainians.
I think so.
We have to ask ourselves a question. Aren't we ourselves a part of this problem? So far, no Patriot batteries that have been promised to Ukraine in Washington have been delivered.
Wow.
No new ammunition packages have been delivered since June.
Yeah, and I showed you the stats on it. No, I didn't show you this yesterday, but I do have the stats queued up.
The eastern flank.
It's unbelievable. Hundreds of promised, missiles and ammo and all kinds of things still haven't been delivered. Sorry. Oh my God, that's embarrassing. Still haven't been delivered. What's the holdup, Joe? You're not even, you promised it. What? Call your people up and make it happen. What are you waiting for?
Is worried because we all understand if Ukrainians are not getting the assistance that they have been promised, that is a door open for Putin to continue. This is very unfortunate, but we need to start asking very specific questions when the promises are being made.
Never seen this before, man.
Because it turns out that when a country X promises an equipment Y, it appears that the equipment Y is is unsuitable, is unusable, it needs repairs, it would take a very long time for it to be delivered. And as for example, during our discussions with Ukrainian friends, we find out that certain equipment that has been promised last year will only be delivered in 2027, even though the calculations and the promises and the announcements and the headlines have been in 2023.
It's just pathetic.
As you know, Putin has reliable friends.
Right.
You know, North Koreans, Iranians are able to resupply Russia with what they.
If we could sit down and have a conversation with Joe Biden about this stuff, we would probably be disgusted, because we would probably see that his concerns are not with the Ukrainian people. It's about his politics. It's about oil. It's about economics. We can't. It's an election season. We can't afford to take a hit on oil right now. Pretty clear to me that it's selfishness. It has nothing to do with the Ukrainian people.
Promised. So there's this difference. In some cases, we are creating a narrative, a good story to tell our citizens. You know, that we are fighters for what's good. But when it comes to deliveries, well, the story sometimes is very different.
Wow.
But there's another message, that basically Europe is prepared to lose.
Yeah.
And I really hope that those people who make decisions not to provide Ukraine what is promised, they are preparing for the next stage of war.
Yeah, platinum. That's what Biden wants.
Because
this is exactly what he's talking about right now.
Will come.
Exactly what Putin wants. I mean,
there's no way around this.
Yeah. No, that's the real politic right there, man. That's real politic right there. And it's I had this queued up for the end of the stream, but it's too relevant. I have to show it. Here's John McCain telling us exactly who Putin is. He knew from day one, man.
Vladimir Putin.
He sure as hell was wrong on a whole lot of things, though, Senator McCain. But he wasn't wrong about this one.
Putin's ambitions were very well known to me and to others. He knew that once Yanukovych left, he had to take Crimea because of Sevastopol.
Was he wrong on? Oh, my God.
He tried the separatists. That didn't work. He armed the separatists.
Things.
That didn't work. So then he sent in thousands of Russian troops. The fact is that they were slaughtering Ukrainians. There were hundreds killed, thousands in the hospitals. It's terrible. Poroshenko had no choice but to agree to a ceasefire. What is going to happen? I predict to you that it will be another step in Vladimir Putin's strategy.
No, I think any failure on Biden's part is his own doing, because he's so checked out and he's so selfish and I think daily the only concern that's really going through the main primary concern going through his mind is how he's going to be perceived in the next couple of years. I think that's the main thing that he's worrying about right now.
To separate eastern Ukraine from Ukraine and perhaps a land bridge to Crimea. No, it's a very bad result. And
I
again,
technically like
we
Kamala
would not
better than
send
Biden,
weapons to the Ukrainians when they were begging for them. We wouldn't even give them intelligence because we didn't want to, quote, provoke Vladimir Putin. By showing weakness, we provoked Vladimir Putin.
And that really is one of the wisest things I think he's ever said.
Vladimir Putin by
showing weakness, we provoke Vladimir Putin, and that is his mindset. That is his mindset. He wouldn't be pushing as hard as he's pushing if he didn't sense weakness in the Western democracies. And right now, seeing what we're seeing, knowing what we know, Putin is not wrong. Putin is betting on the Western democracies getting fatigued, giving up, running out of money, right-wing governments that he's encouraging as much as he can, getting into power, doing him a favor. He's right. Putin is right. That's the gamble. And he's currently winning that gamble. Western democracy is showing itself to be incapable of pushing back against a tyrant like Putin. So here's Kem Goblin's link. This is fascinating. I've never seen this before. I'm going to have to check this website out. I've literally never been here before in my life. Called PeerTube. The sharing system used for this video implies that some technical information about your system, such as public IP address, can be sent to others. So this is like a BitTorrent peer-to-peer, not BitTorrent. No, it's peer-to-peer video sharing. So the reason why this is interesting is that you don't need a central server to do peer-to-peer. The video has to be saved somewhere on someone's computer, though. So it's not perfect. It's not a perfect system, peer-to-peer, but it's more decentralized. It is BitTorrent technology. Okay. So here's a compilation of Russians striking civilians. The terror campaign continues. I did a quick scrub through the video earlier. I didn't see any dead bodies. But, you know, not that we need more proof that Putin is a bastard, that the Russian government are cold-hearted. You know, that this is about revenge. But it helps to see it. Helps to see it. Jesus. Yeah, this is fascinating watching this thing work. It's literally downloading the video, like probably to a local cache in my browser. That would mean that if other people are watching this video, they might be pulling the video information from my computer as well. I wouldn't even know it would be happening. But you see this upload download, you actually would know it's happening if you're uploading the video to someone else. Yeah, that is really something. This is really cool. This is really fucking cool. I'm gonna check this website out. What's not cool is the destruction of civilian infrastructure. These firemen are looking for human beings trapped in the rubble. Just disgusting. Some store, you know? Some residential building. Putin decides to spend $1 million, send a cruise missile, go kill these people. And yes, children are being killed. Teenagers are being killed. I have horrible, horrible video of a 14-year-old girl who was decapitated, sitting on a park bench. The most innocent, you know, girl on planet Earth, man. And Putin wiped her out because he's a petulant little bitch. Okay, yeah. So he's getting driven to the hospital there. Had his shirt was probably blown off his body. And he probably woke up, you know, covered in dust, shirtless. You know, lucky to be alive. Fascinating website. I need to check this out. We got to support stuff like this. We got to decentralize. We got to get away from YouTube. We need YouTube alternatives. Maybe I can stream to this website too. I'll take a look. This is very interesting. Thank you so much for this link, Chemgoblin. Moving on to our next video. Maybe even burnt. He could have ditched it. True. Yeah, true. You know, might have been like, you know. So this tweet, you know, just riled me up, but, you know, this just a random person tweeting about this. You know, why is Biden administration protecting Russian military airfields and launch sites from which Russia attacks Ukraine? Showing, was this Andrew Sullivan? What's his fucking name? Whatever. Excuse makers. Oh, I gotta make sure I wear my aviators so I look cool. Oh, do they think I look cool? Do they think I look cool? Oh, yeah, sir. They think you look so cool. Yeah, Jake Sullivan. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, sir. They think you look so fucking cool. Wow. You're such a strong leader because you put on those sunglasses. Good. Yeah. I want people to think I'm strong and tough, and I'm a tough, strong leader. He's disgustingly weak. He's disgustingly weak and cowardly, right? Because it's all about Joe. It's all about what people will think of me. And what's ironic is that he's so obsessed with what people will think of him. He's so scared to stick his neck out that people are going to consider him to be a weak coward. You know, people are going to shit on Trump's 4 years for obvious reasons, but historians are going to look at Biden's 4 years as a mixed bag at best, a corporatist mixed bag at best. Russia is showing more and more economic vulnerability. Some of the large store chains are closing and being bought out by bigger ones for pennies on the dollar. Yeah, so I've reported on that. I think last weekend we talked about it. The Russian economy looking weak. No, it's like 2 weekends ago. I reported on Russia slipping down to the 11th largest economy. They were 8. They went to 11, I believe. President has made Bush Jr. look capable. Is going to be the title of that chapter. I mean, I don't know, man. Because, as bad as Biden is, he got us out of one war. And he did stand his ground, technically, with Putin, while allowing Israel to escalate its war. He didn't start 2 unnecessary wars. Boy, it's hard to tell who's shittier. I'm going to have to give it to Bush. But we can do better. The left can do better. Their biggest export is oil. They can only sell cheap on the sly right now rather than to Europe directly. Yeah, Zeoduke, but yeah, and we won't know the results of that until like next year, right? Because the last oil data that we have, Russia was gangbusters, doing better sales than they've ever done historically ever. And the reason why it seems is that India and all the other places were trying to buy as much oil as humanly possible before the sanctions actually kicked in, and the sanctions have kicked in. So anyway, cowardice. I hate this guy. I'm sick of him. I just want him off the fucking stage, right? Get the hook. Get the hook in the clown, and get this fucking guy off here. Where's Homie the clown when you need him? And yet Gazprom, the large gas company, has been working in the red for a couple months now. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, we won't know until something collapses that that it was bad enough. You know what I mean? We will never know the truth about Gazprom or any of these situations unless it totally goes belly up, and then we'll know. Okay, yeah, it was as bad as what we were seeing. I'm not going to show all 15 minutes of this, but this gets into the Western justification for not lifting those restrictions. There's no justification for the lack of deliveries, for the whole, for failing to deliver the promised, paid for. This shit has been paid for. The budget has been set aside. The money has been set aside for this stuff. There's no excuse for that. That's incompetence, failure, cowardice. Joe Biden. Put that shit on Joe. The restrictions to attack certain targets in Russia is intentional, and this is the speculation as to why.
Ukraine, where the Air Force commander Mykola Oleshchuk has been dismissed.
Exactly, Tisrael. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're things, tipping points happen. Things will break. You can't lie. You can't lie until the very end, right? Eventually, reality does hit. But you gotta give credit to Russia that they have been able. Whatever skeletons, whatever would affect it, whatever would actually make things, actually legitimately collapse, they've been able to keep the plates spinning. And there's really no indication that, until something happens, there's really no indication that any of that's going to change.
Firing comes days after a Ukrainian F-16 was downed, killing its pilot during an attempt to ward off a Russian missile and drone attack. Oleshchuk's dismissal came after he openly criticised a member of parliament who claimed the plane was shot down by Ukrainian anti-air systems. Now, Ukraine's F-16s were provided by the country's Western partners and are seen as a critical challenge to Russia's air superiority. President Zelensky gave no reason for the dismissal, but said he hoped...
I'm not worried about this. We were always going to lose planes. I find it ridiculous that they only have less than 20. Like, yeah, they're going to be losing these. Let's get them going. We got to hold with what's the 10-year plan? There should be like, okay, we're going to start with 100 this year and then 200 next year and 300 next year. But it's like, no, we'll give you one shipment of half a dozen. Good luck. Fuck off.
To bolster Air Force leadership. Well, officials from Ukraine have been holding talks in the US where they've repeated their request for stronger air defenses to combat Russia's aerial bombardments. Kyiv wants permission to strike targets inside Russia using long-range weapons supplied by their Western allies. Following a deadly strike on Friday in the city of Kharkiv, President Zelensky said Ukraine needed strong decisions from its partners.
Shit, dude, I thought the guy on the left was like Dave Patel, the comedian. I thought that was Dave Patel for a second. What the fuck?
Ukraine needed strong decisions from its partners.
All right, let's get the details.
Another day in the war, another Russian attack on Ukrainian territory.
Disgusting.
This time, shells hit an apartment block and children's playground in Kharkiv. Granddaughter was killed.
So that image right there that's the bench that the girl was sitting on. That blood that you saw was the blood from her decapitation. It's just unbelievable. Well, you don't want to be Dave Patel right now. Dave Patel is having some pretty bad health issues. You know, funny guy, interesting guy, but I hope he gets his health back together. I think that was the last time I heard from Dave Patel. He wasn't doing too well.
In the attack.
I don't understand what kind of people can attack a playground when children are playing in the middle of the day. I just don't know. It's impossible to survive. I don't know how we'll get through it. Her name was Sophia. She was so smart, so beautiful.
But restrictions on long-range weapons supplied to Ukraine by its allies mean Kyiv cannot easily strike back on Russian territory. President Zelensky has been lobbying Western allies to lift those restrictions.
We continue to insist that their determination, lifting the restrictions on long-range strikes for Ukraine now, will help us end the war as soon as possible in a fair way for Ukraine and the world as a whole.
US-supplied HIMARS missiles can hit targets 77 kilometers away. But as this map shows, there aren't any major Russian military assets in that range. If Washington allowed Ukraine to shoot ATACMS with their 300-kilometer range from its territory, it could strike up to 225 military assets, ranging from air defense.
We're not even anywhere fucking close to Moscow. I didn't know it was this bad. I thought the range that they were begging for was like, you know, could technically reach Moscow. This is what they're begging for. This is what Joe is sitting on his hands about. This. He sucks. He sucks so bad. I mean, he sucks so bad. It's I can't even process, dude. My fucking brain is short-circuiting thinking about how shitty you have to be at your job. This is a no-brainer, dog. This is a no-brainer. I mean, I thought it was like past Moscow. It's like, okay, maybe there's some. This is unbelievable. Joe is sitting on his hands for this. Putin's going to drop a nuke because of this, Joe? That's your brilliant political instinct? I mean, is it any wonder that the DNC and the entire Democratic establishment is working overtime to resurrect this fucking zombie's reputation, Joe Biden? Look at how bad he actually is at his fucking job. Yeah, Tisrael, yeah. I'm speechless.
Defense batteries, fuel and ammunition depots to high-value targets. As part of Ukraine's efforts to loosen the restrictions, Kiev's defense minister met with the US Defense Secretary at the Pentagon. No US decision is expected until after an international meeting of donors next week. Kiev's request was top of the agenda when EU defense ministers met in Brussels. Ahead of the talks, some countries were concerned that allowing such strikes on Russian territory would escalate the war. Those include Germany, which is reluctant to deliver its Taurus missile system. It has a range of 500 kilometers. After the meeting, EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell dismissed those concerns, but announced that member states should decide for themselves how Kiev can use the weapons they supply.
To facilitate Ukraine to respond to the Russian aggression inside the Russian territory is in accordance with international law, but member states decided that this is something that belongs to bilateral decisions of each member state providing the equipment with Ukraine.
And Putin with just a big fucking smile hearing this shit. Just a big fuck, because this is exactly what he's betting on. This is exactly what he's betting on. Oh, they need to deliberate and talk and hem and haw over it. All I need to do is tell some asshole that I shoot in the head in 6 weeks to do what I say, and he does it immediately. And then everything that, you know, it's all good for me. Oh, no, you can't even hit me because you got this, you got Germany, you got all these. Oh, yeah. The weakness of the Western democracies to make a decision to react to Putin's violence. He takes full advantage of it, and he knows exactly what to expect from these fucking suited up fancy lads.
The EU ministers also reached a compromise on training Ukrainian troops, upping the number and agreeing to carry out training in locations close to Ukraine, but not on its territory.
And Ukraine is asking to do the training on their territory so that they can train on their land in scenarios that they're actually going to be fighting in. You know, it makes perfect sense, and they're hemming and hawing on that. Hemming and hawing on. They can't even train Ukrainian soldiers on Ukrainian soil. Oh, we got to deliberate. Oh, Putin will drop the nuke if we start training. Oh, he'll do it. That'll do it. They're so pathetic. And Putin takes full advantage. Big fucking grin.
Ukraine is stepping up its push to convince the United States to lift its ban on the use of long-range missiles inside Russian territory. Officials are expected to present the US with a list of targets that they want to hit in meetings today. Here's a look at how that might change the situation on the battlefield.
These are US-made ATACMS missiles. With a range of 300 kilometers, Ukraine has used...
I know it's not a totally fair argument, but I need to mention, like, if the shoe was on the other foot and Putin had all of these tools and resources at his disposal, would he be sitting on his hands? Would he be waiting, oh, I don't want to escalate? I'm the more powerful entity right here, and I'm more powerful than the United States in this hypothetical situation. I don't want to escalate with a less powerful country by dominating them and pushing them back and from their unnecessary aggression. I wouldn't want to piss them off, even though I'm technically more powerful in any fucking conceivable way. I'm going to hold back. I'm worried about my legacy. People might think I'm weak if I were to push back against this entity that's trying to invade another country. They might think I'm weak if I were to show leadership. Right? Does anyone think that would happen in a million fucking years in any goddamn dimension? But no, only the magic of the neoliberal establishment can create this kind of fuck up. Joe Biden wringing his hands, dude. A slam dunk. He's got a slam dunk. And he's like, I don't know what to do with this ball. I don't know what to do. What do I do? Is there a basket? I don't know. Huh? People might think I'm a loser if I slam dunk this ball in the basket. Do you ever think about that?
Them to deadly effect on its own territory, destroying Russian military assets in Crimea and elsewhere.
Yeah, we covered the UK yesterday.
It has long wanted to use them on Russian territory as well. Ukraine has received multiple rounds of upgraded weapons, multiple rocket launchers like HIMARS and tanks, guided long-range missiles, and eventually F-16 jets. Ukraine also used HIMARS, tanks, and jets in its incursion into the Kursk region of Russia, in parallel with massive drone attacks, but it hasn't been enough to hit vital Russian military assets.
If our partners lifted all the current restrictions on the use of weapons on Russian territory, we would not need to physically enter particularly the Kursk region to protect our Ukrainian citizens in the border communities and eliminate Russia's potential for aggression.
Meanwhile, Russia has...
Oh, I don't know if I can show this. Hold on. might show you something that you're not like. Look, I can't show people blowing up. Sorry, guys. I know everyone. Oh, come on. Don't be a pussy. I literally can't show people blowing up. Sorry, folks.
Slowly advanced, despite all the deliveries, and is making gains now in the Donbass region.
Right, so what they're showing is Russians carrying a Russian flag. I think they're on motorcycles or
that
bicycles.
may make it easier to attack the rest
No, they're walking. The footage is sped up.
Of Ukraine.
Okay, so I can show that. I just wasn't sure if there's... I'm never certain if these guys are going to blow up or not when they show footage like this.
Slowly advanced, despite all the deliveries, and is making gains now in the Donbass region.
Yeah, DW is usually pretty good about making sure that they're not showing dead bodies.
That may make it easier to attack the rest of Ukraine.
I think we should show dead bodies, by the way,
Striking
but
deep into
Jeff
Russian
Bezos says
territory
I'm
is
not
a
allowed
gamble to change the terms of the war. But even if the U.S. allowed it, and its allies follow, it's not clear whether it will pay off.
I'm not sure.
Get more now from...
I think NATO is kind of maybe waiting for Kamala Harris. Yeah, I mean, it's just that and Putin knows the weakness. Putin knows all these people are weak. All right, so this is the final segment for the day. Unfortunately, I don't have any more time. I'll see if I can squeeze in a stream tomorrow. It is a holiday tomorrow. I'll see if I can find some time. I got to do some family stuff. So this interview here with Marina, who we've featured on the stream many times before, will be the last segment of the day. But she gives us the straight dope on what the Western justification for these limitations are.
Military analyst Marina Miron. She joins me from Munich. Marina, it's good to see you again. There are more than 200 military targets Ukraine could strike if the U.S. allowed Ukraine to attack within their 300-kilometer range. What effect would that have?
Good evening, Brent. Well, the first question is, what does Ukraine want to achieve? And essentially, we heard President Zelensky saying that they want to end the war. So they want to get the Russians out. Now, the question is, if Ukraine is able to strike these targets, are these the correct so-called centers of gravity which will force Putin to withdraw his forces from Ukraine?
Cut his fucking mic. I hear him typing on the computer, and now he's chatting with his fucking producer. Cut this guy's mic. Jesus.
Centers of gravity which will force Putin to withdraw his forces from Ukraine, and I doubt it is, because Ukraine will certainly complicate Russian logistics and increase the
some video that's playing. He's not even talking. It's some goddamn video.
Costs of war for the Russians. However, will these strikes have a game-changing effect or the desired effect on the battlefield? And I doubt so, because for that Ukraine needs deep strike capability combined with ground maneuver, which Ukraine doesn't have.
Yeah, so she's just talking about battlefield reality. The missiles are still going to be flying. You know, the rockets are still going to be in the air. The drones are still going to be in the air. But you know, let's not forget about how difficult that is going to make things for the Russian military, who is the Russian military is a hulking, creaky, lumbering monster, and it starts getting momentum in one direction, but if something it can't react very quickly to that kind of stuff. So It's not a waste of time. It's not a waste of time to be striking these targets, even though it's not going to prevent Russia from, like I said, firing the rockets, firing the missiles, and all those things.
So militarily, then, is it worth it to give Ukraine a free hand with these weapons?
Well, in military terms, as I said, it would complicate Russian logistics. However, it wouldn't impair Russian capabilities enough as to continue their war in Ukraine. Therefore, it might boost the Ukrainian morale. However, in military terms, in terms of significant changes on the battlefield, it's very unlikely that these deep strikes will produce them. Additionally, we have to understand how will they be conducted? How many ATACMS missiles does Ukraine have? Will it be simultaneous or will it be one by one? And if we look at the Russian bombing campaign of Ukraine, it's been going on since 22. And has it achieved the desired effect? Has it forced Ukraine to surrender? And Russia has greater capabilities in terms of its air power and its missile arsenal.
So remind us, Marina, Again, why is Washington then so reluctant to change the rules?
Well, perhaps there is a fear of a potential escalation because allowing Ukraine to strike deep into Russian territory is not going to produce the desired military effect. However, it will have a political fallout for Washington. This is probably why Washington is very reluctant to go ahead and give the green light to President Zelensky to use ATACMS.
Marina Marone with the latest. Marina, we appreciate your time.
We need more, Marina. We need more. I need more. How? How is there political fallout from being a badass? I'm just so confused. I'm so fucking confused over here. If this was Trump pulling up his pants, rolling up his sleeves, and kicking Putin's butt, it'd be a big political dub. What the fuck are we even talking about? I'm so confused. Political fallout? Oh, no, it's definitely much safer to say nothing and look weak to avoid political fallout. I mean, you know, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand why when this started, it was a big dub for Biden, and now it's not a big dub. Why? Because everyone's convinced of the terrible, lazy right-wing arguments about spending too much money. Oh, yeah, we can't fix Flint, but we're sending all of our money to Ukraine. It's totally bunk. The money is going right back into our military-industrial complex. It's a fucking resupply effort right now. So is that it? Is that Joe Biden's worried about the right-wing lies? Is that it? I don't know, man. I don't know. Whatever. As you can see, we got a lot more Ukraine stuff to cover. So I'm going to do what I can to get something going tomorrow. I can't promise anything, but I'm going to try because we have a lot more to cover about Kursk. I have a lot of videos to show you, just amazing videos of Ukrainian heroism and Russians getting their ass kicked. Employ fatally wounded soldiers. Yeah, you talk about Russia there. They want to blow up defenseless Palestinians, not fight an actual war. Yeah, I don't know. They would prefer not to kill any Palestinians, but it's not like they're going to lose any sleep when Palestinians die. It's complicated. It is complicated, but it's also disgustingly, it's all right there in front of us, you know? It's like we can see all the pieces of the puzzle. They're all there on the table, right? Maybe we don't see the whole puzzle, but we can assemble the pieces. You know, it's possible, but it is complicated. All right, big props to Zeoduke, Chem Goblin, Tisriel, iPlatinum, Estonian. You guys absolutely rock. OGs, thank you for coming in. Lenny, you're the best. Thank you, Lenny. Ice King of Space, you absolutely fucking rock. Thank you for being here. Sorry, it's a quick one. Blue Brother, thank you for coming back. Blue Brother, big props to you. Thank you for coming back. Sir Smoke a Lot, you seem all right. Thank you for coming back. Sir Smoke a Lot. Chem Goblin, of course, big props to you. Gorps Inc., love you, Gorps Inc. Thank you for coming back. Gorps Inc., it's good to see you. A successful streamer in his own right. Make sure you're liking and subscribing to Gorps Inc. Your Tubing, big props to you. Your Tubing, thank you. Your Tubing for coming back. Nematode Knowledge, big props to you. Strategy member, you're awesome. Thank you for all your insight and your wonderful links. Simply Steve 2012, thank you, Simply Steve. Appreciate you coming back. Local shower excrementer, you can stay away. That's fine. It's fine. You can stay away. But no, big props to everybody. Anytime you stream, we're here. You guys rock. Noti Squad. Noti Squad. And don't forget to be subscribing and liking all those Lenny videos. Monday, Tuesday. Accidents waiting to happen. Support your local streamers, folks. Don't forget, the solution to the real problem is political activism. Step 1, inform yourself. Step 2, put your name down. And step 3, put in the fucking work. That's how we solve problems. We don't bitch about them, we solve them. Peace in that motherfucking Middle East and glory to the Ukrainian democracy. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Not bitch made around here, that's for fucking sure. No bitches allowed. Unless you're bitches, then you're allowed. Bitches are allowed, but no bitches are allowed. You know what I mean? Who can swoop? Yeehaw! Ukraine.